Chapter 406. Although Fong Ping saw the departure of the Magic City powerhouses, he did not know what exactly happened. No matter what these high-ranked powerhouses did, they would not report to Fong Ping. It was not until a few days later that Fong Ping received the news from Old Man Li. Or rather, Old Man Li did not have to tell him specifically. Fong Ping saw the news. On the 12th of January, a huge earthquake occurred in an island country in the distant Caribbean Sea. According to the news report, the earthquake, this time in a small country with a small population, caused countless casualties. Old Man Li's expression was solemn. He said in a low voice, "This is trouble." What exactly happened? Fong Ping frowned. The catacombs passageway has been breached? Old Man Li shook his head. If that's the case, it's not a big deal. It's not like the catacombs passageways have not been breached in recent years. As he said that, Old Man Li said gloomily, "Initially there was no entrance to the catacombs in the island country. However, a few days ago, an entrance suddenly appeared." Suddenly, do you understand what I mean? Fong Ping's gaze changed. You mean the kind that was completely unexpected, and there was no energy leakage beforehand? Old Man Li took a deep breath and nodded. Yes, that's it. At that time, that passageway opened almost instantly. A few rank 9s nearby sensed it and rushed over immediately. However, powerhouses from the opposite side had already rushed out from the passageway. Both sides broke out in a huge battle. At that time, the situation was critical. Sino Nation received the news too. Many powerhouses went to support. Even so, it still caused intense damage and many casualties. This earthquake was not only because the catacombs passageway was hit, but also because of the huge battle. At one point, the other party rushed out. The huge battle almost sank the island country. In the end, although the other party was chased back, a few rank 9 powerhouses also messed up the passageway, messing up the energy and temporarily sealing it. However, the key is not this, but Old Man Li inhaled again. But the passageway opened suddenly, almost without any preparation time. This means that perhaps as there are more passageways, the barrier between the two worlds has become easier to penetrate. If that's the case, perhaps we'll face all the territories next. Right now, not all territories have passageways. There are a total of 103 catacombs, passageways, in the entire world. No, including the one that's open now. That makes 104. Right now, all the passageways correspond to a territory individually. There are no overlaps. Are these 104 territories all the territories in the catacombs? This was also Fong Ping's first time finding out that there were 104 catacombs, passageways in the world. He could not help but ask, based on the calculation that there are at least 20 rank 9s in each territory, doesn't that mean there are at least 2,000 rank 9s in the catacombs other than the central territory? This is too terrifying. Old Man Li shook his head. That won't be the case. There aren't that many. Some regions are actually very small, and not every region is like our side. Some regions only have 3 to 5 cities, and there are also guardian demon plants and demon beasts. Some regions actually don't have any, but if I calculate it, there should be 1,500 rank 9. Doesn't that mean that there are as many rank 9 martial artists as dogs? Just how many rank 9s are there on Earth? Old Man Li thought for a while and said, "On the surface, Sino Nation has 33. There should be more. I'm guessing there should be 40. Adding up the other countries, there are about 200 or so. In other words, the ratio of rank 9s between us now is 1 to 6. There were more than 200 rank 9s in the world, more than Fong Ping had imagined. But there were thousands of catacombs. Monster Life Clan didn't make a move all this while. A portion of the Monster Plant Clan cities didn't make a move either. Guardian demon plants and demon beasts rarely appeared too. In reality, there were about 2 rank 9s guarding a catacomb previously. Of course, it's usually one person. Every catacomb has a rank 9 stationed there. The other rank 9s have their own missions. There aren't many rank 9s fighting each other. That's why it's not really a ratio of 1 to 6. Previously, when rank 9s fought, it was usually one-on-one fights. Old Man Lee explained and said, but now we don't know how many more passageways are going to be opened. Moreover, the opening speed is getting faster and faster. Will there be a situation where the two realms will merge officially? At this point, Old Man Lee's expression was extremely solemn. He said in a low voice, if it's a full-scale integration, then it'll be really troublesome. There's no boundary between both parties anymore. If both parties really start a full-scale war, we're actually still fine. But what about those ordinary people? If a large number of martial artists fight, perhaps the Earth mainland will really sink. When powerhouses reached Grandmaster level, their survival ability was extremely strong. Even if they were thrown into outer space, they might still be able to survive. But what about the others? If a war broke out, who would still care about those ordinary people? Billions of people. Once the war started, there might be very few survivors. The disaster of human extinction might really come. Fang Ping's expression was solemn. When that time came, he might be able to survive. But what about his parents and family? Could he protect them? Old Man Li did not care what he was thinking. He continued, now Sino Nation and a few other big countries have already begun to gather the world's powerhouses to discuss countermeasures. Should we fully disclose the information? Or we should just give up a part of the area and let the catacombs powerhouses come and go? We'll focus on defending a part of the area. We'll gather all our strength to resist the catacombs invasion. Fang Ping's expression changed. He asked, give up a part of the passageways? Does that mean that the battlefield will be shifted to the ground? Old Man Li sighed. I don't know. It's not impossible. Also, if we give up a part of the area, we can use technological weapons to simply raise those areas to the ground. The catacombs powerhouses can be resurrected, but it's not without a price. I'm afraid we can't use technological weapons to kill rank 9 powerhouses. It's also difficult for rank 8 powerhouses, but rank 7 powerhouses without a golden body will also die if they're covered by a powerful weapon. This way, we can save a lot of trouble. Now, Asia has the most passageways. Sino Nation has 23, and the other countries have a total of 32 passageways. In other words, Asia has as many as 55 passageways, occupying more than half. Therefore, Asia will not be given up because it's more suitable for powerhouses to converge. The other scattered catacombs passageways are more likely to be given up. Fang Ping was not happy because of this. Instead, he had a splitting headache. If we give up, what about the people in other places? Some of them will migrate. Some of them may be left to fend for themselves. These words were extremely cold-blooded, but this was also the truth. There were too many people. If they were to stay in Asia, Asia could not withstand billions of people. Of course, they were still discussing it now. The powerhouses of other continents might not agree. Furthermore, it was not impossible to ask them to give up Asia. After all, with so many catacombs entrances gathered here, it was easier for modern weapons to cover them and attack them together instead of attacking them separately. This kind of matter was related to the future situation. Fang Ping felt that it would be difficult to reach an agreement. Everyone had their own selfish motives. If it was not the last resort, it would not be that easy to ask the higher-ups to give up their own country, their own territory, and their people. Unless it was really to the point where they could not defend it anymore and a large number of places were breached, these people might compromise for the sake of survival. Have they given up? Fang Ping mumbled, with some indescribable sorrow. After guarding it for so many years and sacrificing so many people's lives, are they going to give up now? If they give up now, won't the blood of the humans who died fighting in the catacombs all these years be in vain? Old Man Li's expression was also complicated. He said in a low voice, no one wants to give up, but the situation is getting worse. This can be seen from Sino Nation. The number of catacombs in Sino Nation is increasing. 23. That's close to a quarter of the world. Although everyone thinks that it's more beneficial for us to drag it out. But now, it seems that it's not all advantages and no disadvantages. In the past, a catacomb only had one city, one every 4 years. The growth of our strength could actually offset the disadvantage of increasing catacombs entrances. But now, the catacombs are no longer fighting us with one city, but many. If this goes on, the speed of our strength growth won't be able to keep up with the advantage of opening more catacombs entrances. Old Man Lee said for a while, then took a deep breath and said, also, recently there's news from the upper echelons that they're preparing to gather forces and destroy 1 or 2 catacombs. Fong Ping's expression changed. He said in shock, how many grandmasters will die? Aren't they afraid that the catacombs will attack all at once? Under normal circumstances, the catacombs today would only be at war with one city. However, to destroy the other, it would definitely be the entire catacomb city attacking. The casualties would be incomparably heavy. If so many people died, how would they defend the other catacombs? Did Sino Nation also have to give up a part of the catacombs? Not to mention whether the powerhouses of the catacombs restricted areas would come out. It's just the news. Some people can't stand it anymore. Old Man Lee exhaled and said, the pressure is increasing so much so that some people are unwilling to continue defending, continue waiting, and fight with their lives on the line, trying to see if there's a turning point. You also know that there are energy mines under the catacombs' royal city. Destroying a royal city means a huge harvest. If we destroy a catacombs royal city, we can obtain countless energy mines and nurture many powerhouses. What these people mean is maybe they want to go the elite route. Old Man Lee's expression turned even more grim. The so-called elite route was to give up a large number of hopeless martial artists and let these martial artists charge at the front, using their lives in exchange for a huge amount of resources to nurture powerhouses with hope. This was even crueler than breeding parasites. If such a policy was really implemented, who knew how many martial artists would die, including a large number of grandmasters and old grandmasters. These people, if they did not improve in the grandmaster realm for many years, might also become sacrifices. No, there would definitely be a batch of grandmasters who would become sacrifices, because without grandmasters, they could not attack the catacombs and destroy the royal city. For example, MCMAU's Lu Polu, an old grandmaster who had been stuck at rank 7 for many years. Once a war broke out, Lu Polu would definitely be enlisted. Fong Ping fell silent, no matter what he thought or said. He could not change the decision of the upper echelons. But now, it had not reached that point yet. If it really reached that point, Fong Ping did not know what kind of changes would happen. Would those martial artists who were destined to become sacrifices be willing? Perhaps they would. After so many years of bloody battles, many martial artists were prepared. Those powerhouses who came from martial arts, universities, and military schools, including the powerhouses in the military, had always been instilled with the idea of fighting for humanity and for the country. Back then, martial arts universities and military schools were established to weaken the strength of the sex. Today, to put it bluntly, perhaps it was to prepare for this moment, so that some people would be willing to die. Martial arts universities and military schools were both government institutions, upholding the ideals of loyalty and serving the country and the people. On the other hand, those martial artists who came from martial arts classes might not have such ideals. Of course, their strength was also weak. The government concentrated resources, subsidized martial arts universities, military schools, cultivated powerhouses in the military, and even weakened the resources and scale of the sections. These were not without purpose. Now, when it was time to fight for the country and family, would these martial artists who had been nurtured stand up? Fong Ping believed that a large number of people would stand up, like MCMAU's old vice-chancellor, Nanjiang Zhangdingnan, and MAU vice-chancellor Chen. These people would stand up when needed, even if they died in battle in a foreign land. In the end, Old Man Li suddenly said, "There's one more thing. I'm afraid Tiannan's catacombs will open soon. The opening this time is different from Nanjiang's. The passageway is not stable. When Tiannan's catacombs opens, the passageway will be extremely stable in an instant. Even rank 9 powerhouses might not be able to seal the passageway. The government has already begun to gather powerhouses to prepare for the battle in Tiannan. I'm afraid the battle in Tiannan will be very tragic." Old Man Li sighed softly. "If there are no accidents, Tiannan's catacombs martial artists will definitely not wait outside the passageway like Nanjiang. Instead, they will attack directly. Currently, we still don't know what the situation is like on the other side. If you have any relatives or friends over there, inform them and ask them to leave Tiannan as soon as possible." "Is Tiannan's catacombs opening too?" Fang Ping could not help but sigh. The situation was getting more and more difficult. When Tiannan's catacombs were breached and humans had to retreat, Fang Ping was still preparing for the Gaokao. Now, almost 2 years had passed in the blink of an eye. The opening of the passageway was indeed close at hand. Fang Ping could not help but think of Yang Jian's high school classmates. These people were still in Tiannan Martial Arts University. Of course, he thought of Wang Jinyang even more. His instructor was trapped in Tiannan's catacombs back then. When Tiannan's catacombs opened, Wang Jinyang had to go. However, Tiannan's catacombs were different from Nanjiang. Over at Nanjiang, this was the first time it opened. Most of the powerhouses on the other side did not know what was going on and were completely unprepared. However, Tiannan had opened before and had fought with humans for many years. Over there, it was much more dangerous than Nanjiang. Moreover, Huang Jing had also mentioned that the incident in Tiannan was related to the fall of a rank 9 paragon. This made things even more complicated over there. In addition, Tiannan Martial Arts University's former vice-chancellor had become an evil sex higher up. In short, the situation in Tiannan was extremely complicated and dangerous. The fall of a rank 9 paragon, the involvement of evil sects, the removal of human strongholds, the opening of the passageway before this, Fang Ping did not feel too much pressure. Of course, there was still pressure, but he felt that there was still enough time. However, now, Fang Ping felt that time was really tight. The whole world was in chaos. They even began to consider giving up a part of the area. This made Fang Ping's heart extremely depressed. How much longer until a full-scale war broke out? "I'm only a rank 5, Fang Ping muttered to himself. With this kind of strength, he was only cannon fodder. No, he was not even cannon fodder. Compared to the catacomb strength, a rank 5 like him was really not very useful. If he was not cannon fodder, then what about the other MCMAU students? They were all ants. I have to achieve rank 7 as soon as possible. No, maybe rank 9 will be enough," Fang Ping muttered. Beside him, Old Man Li's eyes twitched slightly. He said rank 9 as if he could achieve it by eating and drinking. Fang Ping did not care what he thought and said, "I don't plan to go to the catacombs before the new year. After the new year, I want to go to the Magic City catacombs. Instructor, how about you accompany me when the time comes? You can just be my support." When he ran, he could run faster if he called Old Man Li along. Old Man Li's expression stiffened slightly. He was already calling him. Was he really going to do something big? Without saying anything, Old Man Li nodded. "Let's talk about it when the time comes." Fang Ping did not say anything else. Now that he knew why the Magic City powerhouses were going, he could not be bothered to care about how the higher-ups discussed it. It was all rank 8 and rank 9 who were negotiating. As a rank 5, he still had some status in MCMAU. If he was thrown over there, who would give him a rank 5 face, he would not even have the chance to listen in. As for whether he would give up a part of the area or give up Asia altogether, Fang Ping knew that he could not change it. Chapter 407. On the 15th of January, it was officially the 12th lunar month. On this day, Fang Ping had finally finished honing the last of his internal organs. Middle stage rank 5. After all of his internal organs had been honed, Fang Ping once again felt that he was no longer human. Under the scan of his psychic energy, his internal organs were now translucent and crystalline. The bones were golden. The internal organs were translucent and crystalline. The blood was not pure red, but the color of blood jade. Was he really human? Wealth 8. 73 billion converted. Vitality 4,000 calories, 4,800 calories. Mentality 750 hertz, 839 hertz. Bones honed 177 bones, 100%. 26 bones, 90%. 3 bones, 30% plus. Storage space for cubic meters plus. Energy shield 10,000 wealth/minute. In the past few days, Fang Ping had gone to the celestiality cultivation room a few times to inject celestiality, which had depleted a portion of his wealth. However, the school had not allocated the money yet, so Fang Ping was in no hurry. 600 million a month. Once he got the money, he could increase his wealth by another 600 million. Middle stage rank 5. Fang Ping's face was filled with joy. The honing this time was extremely fast. It had only been 20 days since he left the Nanjiang catacombs. The reason why it was so fast was because of the life essence from last time. After that, if he wanted to enter upper stage rank 5, he had to hone his meridians. The human body had 14 major meridians and 206 minor meridians. Once the reconstruction was complete, he would enter upper stage. Many martial artists were extremely slow at this stage. Out of the 220 meridians, he was able to reconstruct 1 in 3 days. This speed was considered fast, right? 660 days, which was close to 2 years, was actually a genius. Spending 2 years to go from middle stage rank 5 to upper stage was really nothing. However, to Fang Ping, that was too slow. Achieving upper stage rank 5 in 2 years? They were about to graduate. He had to think of a way to speed up the tempering process. Although Fang Ping could replenish his vitality force infinitely, there was a limit to the honing speed of vitality force. Even if he could replenish 1 meridian a day, Fang Ping could not accept it taking 220 days to achieve upper stage rank 5. It's best if I can make 10 a day and finish it in 22 days. Of course, this was just Fang Ping's beautiful fantasy. Reconstructing 10 meridians in a day was not something he could achieve even in the energy mine, unless he soaked in the life essence. Just as Fang Ping was fantasizing about bathing in life essence MCMAU Southern Area Energy Cultivation Room, Qin Fengqing was overjoyed. Peak rank 4. He broke through to rank for a few days earlier than Fang Ping at the beginning of July, and now only half a year had passed. In half a year, he had advanced from early stage rank 4 to peak rank 4. This speed was even faster than Wang Jinyang and the others. It wasn't that Qin Fengqing was more talented than them, but that he was willing to pay the price. He had gone down to the catacombs a few times and earned quite a lot of money. Especially with Fang Ping, they had done it twice, and each time they had earned handsomely. He had spent so much money on the energy room as a hotel. Naturally, his cultivation speed would not be slow. Wang Jinyang and the others were not as extravagant as him, not to mention the fact that they could not earn much in the catacombs. Even if they did earn a lot, they might not be as extravagant as Qin Fenghua. Under his unrestrained extravagance, Qin Fengqing finally broke through to peak rank 4 in half a year. I'm almost at rank 5. Qin Fengqing grinned. Peak rank 4. After stabilizing for a while, he could think of a way to break through to rank 5. Once he entered rank 5, he would be at the same rank as Fang Ping and the others. That's not right. I think I'm out of money again. Qin Fengqing's expression changed slightly. Living in the energy room as his home was great, but it also cost a lot. His previous harvest in Nanjiang had been spent by his unrestrained extravagance. How do I break through to rank 5 then? Also, I'm prepared to use a lot of energy stones to release energy, to achieve liquefaction, and then break through to rank 5. This will cost a lot. Qin Fengqing suddenly felt a headache coming on. He was prepared to do what Fang Ping did, to let his celestial bridge mutate. But now it seemed that the money needed to be spent was also a huge sum. He had spent all his money. Where could he get more? Don't tell me. I really have to let that guy mine my mine? The mine vein that he had found was only guarded by a rank 7. With Fang Ping's ability to hide his aura, even if he was discovered by a rank 7 monster, the probability of him running away was still extremely high. If he brought Old Man Li along, he might even be able to kill that rank 7 monster. However, Qin Fengqing had always treated this mine as his personal reserve, preparing to mine at rank 6. If he contributed it, with that guy Fang Ping's personality, he would be lucky if he could get 1/10 of it. Qin Fengqing's expression kept changing. Should he go with that guy or not? If he did not tell Fang Ping, he would go by himself. He was only rank 4 now. If he went against a rank 7, he would really be courting death. But if he told him, he was a little unwilling. So annoying. Qin Fengqing had a headache. Suddenly, he felt that breaking through to peak rank 4 was not that exciting anymore. However, Qin Fengqing quickly thought of something else. I submitted my resume to the Nanjiang House of Governors last time. I haven't gone out these few days. I don't know if there's a reply. Thinking of this, Qin Fengqing walked out of the energy room and went straight to the dormitory. Halfway there, he coincidentally bumped into Fang Ping again. Qin Fengqing was afraid to see him now. When he saw Fang Ping, his face darkened instantly, wanting to ignore him. However, after thinking about it, Qin Fengqing felt the need to show off a little. He said, I'm finally peak rank 4. Looks like I can reach rank 5 soon. Fang Ping, rank 5 isn't just for some people. Fang Ping was about to say something too. After hearing what he said, he smiled and said, Congratulations, congratulations. You're almost rank 5. I'm also only middle stage rank 5. Looks like you're almost catching up to me. Rank 5. Middle stage? Qin Fengqing's expression changed. So fast? I'm at rank 4. Advancing a small rank is not as fast as you rank 5. Qin Fengqing's expression kept changing. Without another word, he quickened his pace and walked back hurriedly. He did not want to talk to Fang Ping anymore. Behind him, Fang Ping said slowly, Qin Fengqing, consolidate these days. It's already December. Try to nourish your 5 viscera to the extreme within a month. After the new year, I'll bring you to break through to rank 5. Humph. Qin Fengqing snorted heavily. He was still thinking of doing something to him. Fang Ping smiled and said, Stop snorting. I'm not after those mines this time. Those are nothing. I want to kill a rank 7 monster and get a divine weapon for MCMAU. Those mines, I'll give them to you when the time comes. No one wants this stuff. If you want mines, there are plenty of them. However, it's not worth killing a rank 7 monster for no reason. Killing a monster that's occupying the mine along with it is killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Do you understand what I mean? Qin Fengqing stopped in his tracks. He turned his head and said, Really? Fang Ping laughed. Of course it's true. It's not that it's impossible to find a rank 7 monster, but think about it. If you want to kill a monster, you can only kill it alone. Your mind might be sucked dry by that monster someday. These monsters don't have the thought of sustainable development. Qin Fengqing looked conflicted. After a while he said, The mines are mine. Of course, but before Fang Ping could finish, Qin Fengqing's expression changed, and he said, At most 20%. The monster and 20% of the mines belong to you. The rest is mine. Fang Ping chuckled and said, Qin Fengqing, what are you thinking? I don't want it. If I want it, I can just find a royal city and dig around. What I mean is that killing a rank 7 monster will definitely require a Grandmaster's help. A Grandmaster can't possibly help you for no reason, right? So, you have to at least give a portion to the Grandmaster who helps. Isn't this what you should do? Qin Fengqing struggled again. He nodded and said, "That's fine, but at most half. I won't do more than that." Fang Ping nodded and said, "Then I'll help you talk to him. It's not a big problem." Qin Fengqing breathed a sigh of relief. He looked at Fang Ping again. He had a feeling that Fang Ping was not so kind. Did this guy really not want it? Fang Ping saw him looking at him suspiciously. He chuckled and said, "What are you looking at me for? I don't care about these things now. If I really cared, I wouldn't have lent my own energy stones to the school. Qin Fengqing, don't put your poor mentality on me." Qin Fengqing's face turned purple, but he did not say anything. "Fine, you have money, you can be willful. That's the best." Without saying anything more, Qin Fengqing left quickly. Fang Ping waited for him to leave. He stared at his back with a faint smile on his face. "I won't split it with you. When I know where the mine is, I'll dig a batch first and leave some residue for you. I don't need you to split it with me." Thinking of this, he thought of the resume Qin Fengqing had submitted to Nanjiang. "You want to be Auspicious Son's commander? You can do it." Fang Ping pursed his lips. Nanjiang was his hometown. Zhang Dingnan and the others were also in contact with him now. As an MCMAU student, Qin Fengqing wanted to work in Nanjiang. Nanjiang had communicated with Fang Ping immediately. Auspicious Sun was a prefecture-level city above Sun City. With Qin Fengqing's ability, if he broke through to rank 5, although he lacked experience and might not be able to become a commander, no one would reject being Auspicious Sun's deputy. Deputy Commander, or Auspicious Sun Military Region's Deputy Commander, or they could just give him the title of Commander. It was not impossible to let the deputy handle the actual trivial matters. Nanjiang needed a large number of powerhouses to work there. Qin Fengqing's ability was not weak. There was still hope. Zhang Dingnan was actually tempted. However, Fang Ping naturally would not let this happen. He mentioned it briefly. Qin Fengqing's mother insisted that Qin Fengqing stay in MCMAU, threatening to kill herself. If Zhang Dingnan dared to accept Qin Fengqing, his mother would go to Nanjiang's House of Governors and block the door. As soon as this was said, how could Zhang Dingnan not understand Fang Ping's meaning? Not knowing whether to laugh or cry, he also gave up on this idea. Now that both parties had a lot of cooperation, there was no need to affect it because of Qin Fengqing. If Qin Fengqing went back to read the reply now, it would probably only be a rejection message. How pitiful. Nobody wants you. I'll see where you can go. Fang Ping laughed as he walked. Qin Fengqing's ability was not bad. After entering rank 5, it would not take long for him to step into rank 6. This guy was also brave. In the future, it would be quite suitable to ask him to do some more dangerous missions. In January, it was not only Fang Ping and Qin Fengqing who broke through. Chan Wenlong, who was training in the military department, also officially entered rank 5 in January, becoming MCMAU's second rank 5 student. After a short period of disappearance of rank 5 students, MCMAU once again produced 2 rank 5 students. Good news came one after another. With a lot of subsidies and preferential treatment, MCMAU's other students entered rank 4 again, and there were many who entered rank 3. When Fang Ping took over the Martial Arts Society at the beginning of the semester, there were 9 rank 4 students and 51 rank 3 students. When the second Martial Arts University Championship ended, there were 14 rank 4 students and more than 150 rank 3 students. At this moment, MCMAU had 2 rank 5 students, 15 rank 4 students, and more than 200 rank 3 students. There were even more rank 2 students. It was close to the 2,000 mark. There were very few aspiring martial artists left. Only a portion of the freshman students were still aspiring martial artists. There were less than 500 of them, and they were almost there. After the new year, MCMAU would probably enter an era of full martial artists. This was almost impossible in the past. In previous years, even when the new students enrolled, a portion of the students were still aspiring martial artists. Since aspiring martial artists could not accept missions, it was difficult for them to obtain additional resources. They could only rely on time. Under Fong Ping's leadership, the loan system was opened up and more daily missions were opened up, greatly reducing the difficulty of obtaining credits. Many aspiring martial artists chose to borrow some credits to break through and repay their debts. When they became stronger, they could naturally accept more missions. At this moment, MCMAU had entered a period of rapid growth. Not only did the students' abilities grow, but the instructors' abilities were also increasing day by day. The number of rank 6 powerhouses had officially broken through the 30 mark. The number of rank 5 instructors was also close to 300. There were also more than 100 rank 4 instructors now. The remaining rank 3 instructors used to mainly teach cultural studies, basic courses, or other courses. Now, many of them were also trying to break through to rank 4. The energy room was now overcrowded every day. It was no longer the same as before, when Song Yingji could sit there and doze off. Many people saw the changes in MCMAU. Fong Ping was overdrawing on MCMAU's years of accumulation. Many people could see that. However, when they thought about the changes in the current situation, even if they knew that he was consuming MCMAU's accumulation and overdrawing on future resources, no one in MCMAU's upper echelon said anything, including the Department of Education. This was because Fong Ping himself did not seem to be benefiting from it. Instead, he was constantly subsidizing MCMAU. He did not put these resources into his own pocket. He was still taking out money. Although MCMAU said that he was borrowing it, it was obvious that they would not return it in the short term. Based on this, even if some people felt that it was inappropriate, they could not say anything. With the support of MCMAU's upper echelons, MCMAU's transformation was also continuing. On January 16th, the second day after Fong Ping's breakthrough, something big happened worldwide. Something very big. At least that was what ordinary people thought. On this day, no one knew what kind of agreement the human upper echelons had reached. The World Martial Arts Federation announced a brand new list, a global list. On this day, everyone was shocked. It was an extremely long list. Rank 9 Grandmaster list. Rank 8 Grandmaster list. Rank 7 Grandmaster list. There were a total of 212 powerhouses on the rank 9 list. No one would have thought that there would be so many rank 9 powerhouses among humans. Even if a previous list in Sino Nation showed that there were 33 rank 9 powerhouses that was internal, the outside world did not know about it. Many people only knew about the incomplete list on the internet. On that list, there were less than 10 rank 9 powerhouses. According to previous estimates, there were at most 40 to 50 rank 9 powerhouses in the world. After all, Sino Nation was currently the country with the most martial arts powerhouses. The more catacombs there were, the more powerhouses there were. Without so many powerhouses, it was impossible to guard so many catacombs entrances. However, this time, including some people in the martial arts world who knew about it, they were all shocked. More than 200 rank 9 powerhouses. The rank 8 list was also shocking. There were more than 500 rank 8 powerhouses in the world. The rank 7 list was even more terrifying. There were more than 1,000 people, and the last place was 1,600. This was the first time the human upper echelons announced such a list to the public. It was a list that shocked everyone to the point of disbelief. There were more than 2,300 Grandmaster level powerhouses in the world. And this, as far as Fong Ping knew, was not all. Of course, there were not too many hidden this time. The powerhouses that Fong Ping knew were all on the list. Even if they were hidden, there were not many. Moreover, most of them were concentrated in rank 9 or even rank 9 paragons. Rank 7 and 8 might not be hidden. Even if there were, it should be very few. Fang Ping was still fine. Some low-ranked martial artists were actually more shocked than ordinary people. Only when they became martial artists would they know what it meant to be a grandmaster. In the past, in everyone's impression, grandmasters were very rare. But now, reality told them that grandmasters were not that rare. It was just that they did not know about it. McMao. Following the announcement of this list, some people were shocked, some people were hopeful, and some people felt that they had seen a new world. Of course, there were also people who were furious. The rank 8 golden body list. A certain fake rank 8 was also on the list. It was probably not easy to judge this person's specific situation, but the golden body was real. Therefore, in the end, this person was on the rank 8 list, but in terms of ranking, 25, and the total number of people on the rank 8 list, 525 people. I'm definitely not the weakest. I can already release my mentality. Even if I'm not a real rank 8, combat strength doesn't depend on the realm. I killed a rank 8 when I was a rank 6. It's not difficult to kill a few rank 8 now. How dare they put me last? They've gone too far. They might as well put me first in rank 7. What kind of stupid list is this? The World Martial Arts Federation? This rubbish organization is just an organization to transmit information. There's only one rank 7 in charge. How could they have the right to publish such a list? Did they ask for my opinion? Old man Li was about to explode. Yes, he was a fake. Yes, but he might as well not enter it. What was the meaning of putting him last? Of course, these 3 lists did not have an official ranking. It was even written at the top that it was not a ranking based on ability, it was random. But even a fool knew that random was **t. That was definitely a ranking based on ability. If it was random, why would it be from one country and then another country? Moreover, comparing it with Sino Nation's list, everyone could see that it was clearly in order of ranking. The last rank, 8, was really not as famous as the first rank, 7. No, he was not even as famous as the top 10 rank 7. Who would look at the last place in the top 500? Old man Li was furious. Huang Jing, who was beside him, said impatiently, "That's enough. You're a fake rank 8. It's already good enough that you can go up. Still asking for so much." Old man Li had only killed a rank 8 powerhouse. Otherwise, based on his situation, he might not even be included. Who's a fake rank 8? I'm a half-step rank 8. Do you understand? Old man Li was fuming. Fake sounded so bad. Would it kill him to call it half-step? Fang Ping could not be bothered with him. At this moment, he was still looking at the list. The first rank, 9, was not the military department's Commander Li. Commander Li was ranked 3rd. There were still 2 people in front of him. After scanning for a while, Fang Ping said, "Among these 212 rank 9s, are there 30 rank 9 paragons?" He also saw other people's rankings. Zhao Xingwu, rank 948. Wu Chuan, rank 998. Previously, one was 8th and one was 9th. The gap seemed extremely small. However, when it came to the global ranking, Old Wu was actually ranked 98th. Even Fang Ping felt ashamed for him. Most of the other rank 9s in Sino Nation were outside the top 100. However, the low ones were low, and the high ones were also extremely high. Commander Li was 3rd. As for the others, among the top 10, the 5th, 8th, and 9th were all Sino Nation powerhouses. In the top 10, Sino Nation occupied 4 places. From 10th to 20th, Sino Nation also had 2 people on the list. The Grandmaster, who was previously ranked 7th in Sino Nation, was now ranked 35th, followed by Zhao Xingwu. The biggest difference in ranking was Wu Chuan. From Zhao Xingwu's 48th place to his 98th place directly. Obviously, the gap between both parties was not small. After hearing that, Huang Jing said, "Not necessarily. It shouldn't be a big problem for the top 10 to be rank 9 paragons. However, I saw that the Department of Investigation Services Chief Nan is ranked 14th. Chief Nan probably hasn't reached rank 9 paragon yet." The Department of Investigation Services Chief was previously ranked 5th in Sino Nation. He was also a top-notch magnate. However, Huang Jing had contact with him before. Judging from his aura alone, he was far from the Education Department's Zhang Tao. Zhang Tao's ability was still extremely strong. On the list, he was second only to the Military Department's Li Zhen. This time he was also ranked 5th in the world. It could be seen that this was the real top-notch figure. That was true. The Education Department governed all the martial arts universities. If they were not strong enough, they would not be able to control the scene. In terms of the number of martial arts universities' powerhouses, excluding rank 9s, just rank 7s and 8s, the military department might not be much more than the martial arts universities. That's it. Fang Ping raised his eyebrows slightly. Only the top 10 were rank 9 paragons? After all, this was the global ranking. Sino Nation only had 4 people in the top 10. Could it be that Sino Nation only had 4 rank 9 paragons? It seemed that this ranking was not too complete. Fang Ping did not look at the rank 9 ranking anymore. Instead, he looked at the rank 8 and rank 7 rankings. Wu Quishan entered the rank 8 ranking. His ranking was much higher than Old Man Li's, 129. This was the global ranking. It was not considered low. Wu Quishan was only the vice-chancellor of a university in Sino Nation. There were 1,600 people in the rank 7 ranking. Huang Jing and Lu Polu were also on the list. Lu Polu ranked 390. Huang Jing was 725. It was not considered high, but not too low either. However, in the rank 7 ranking, Fang Ping saw a familiar name that was slightly higher up. Chun Yaoting, ranked 3rd among the rank 7. In the global ranking, Chen Yaoting was actually ranked 3rd among the rank 7. He was also the strongest rank 7 in Sino Nation. This was really surprising. It seemed like the old man's ability was really quite amazing. Old Man Li was probably not his match. Old Man Li should not have too much of a problem fighting a typical rank 7. However, if he encountered Chen Yaoting, he would most likely lose. Fang Ping pointed at Chen Yaoting's name and looked at Old Man Li. Old Man Li was so angry that his face was flushed red. "I can definitely beat him. Look at your grandfather." He was cursing wildly in his heart. However, Old Man Li had to admit that the current him might not be Chen Yaoting's match. Chun Yaoting aside, he was probably not a match for the top 10 rank 7s. He had to admit that this was very embarrassing and miserable. Chapter 408. In the office, Old Man Li looked furious. Huang Jing was calm and composed. Fang Ping scanned the list and said in a low voice, "They're trying to build momentum." The purpose of suddenly announcing such a list was obvious. Were thousands of grandmasters powerful? Those who did not know the details of the catacombs would not think that humans were weak. Martial artists who did not know much about the catacombs, if they were hopeless before, would have their confidence boosted now. In many people's impression, humans fighting against the catacombs were only fighting against individual cities. In a city, most people did not know about the monster plants and beasts. That was 1 rank 9, 2 or 3 rank 8s, and about 10 rank 7s. Based on this comparison of strength, Sino Nation only had about 20 rank 9 martial artists. In Sino Nation, there were 33 rank 9s on the list. As for golden body powerhouses, there were more than 100 of them. If it was the Fang Ping from the beginning, he might think that Sino Nation had the resources to fight against the catacombs. The announcement of the list was not just a simple ranking statistics. Fang Ping guessed that it was preparation for the upcoming announcement. What did the general public know? If they knew that the country was so powerful and that humans were so powerful, even if they knew about the existence of the catacombs, they might still be optimistic. They might even have the mentality of opening up a new world. Huang Jing agreed with Fang Ping's words. He nodded and said, "It's indeed building momentum. If nothing goes wrong, the catacombs will be announced to the public soon." After all, at this juncture, the safety of ordinary people can no longer be guaranteed. Moreover, knowing about the existence of a new world can also stimulate the mentality of many people to become stronger. In the past, those who are not rank 3 can't enter the catacombs. Many rank 1 and 2 martial artists think that practicing martial arts is purely for the sake of becoming a privileged class. At this time, if the existence of the catacombs is publicized, if the government gives some guidance, such as the catacombs cultivation resources everywhere, I'm afraid that a large number of casual martial artists will have new motivation to work hard to enter the catacombs and become rank 3 martial artists. Old Man Li snorted. What guidance? It's still deception. Huang Jing humphed. Deception? Nowadays, many martial artists have no motivation to cultivate at all. Without benefits, who would risk their lives to cultivate? Don't tell them that if they cultivate to rank 3, they might lose their lives in the catacombs. If that's the case, do you believe that many cowardly people will not break through even if they can break through? Old Man Li retorted. What's the use of these cowardly fellows becoming stronger? I'm afraid I'll wet my pants when I enter the catacombs. You can't say that. Many people are afraid in the beginning. Huang Jing laughed. Including you and me. Don't tell me you're not afraid at all when it's your first time in the catacombs. However, humans were also the race with the strongest adaptability. When faced with the crisis of life and death, the extinction of a race and the destruction of a country, there would always be some people who would stand up. There would always be a group of people who would erupt with greater potential at this time. Whether it was for humanity or for their own lives, they would fight a bloody battle and break through their limits. Changsheng, there are many people like that. You have to understand that when it comes to that stage, only a minority would be afraid to fight. The history of Cathay proved all of this. In the face of danger, most people would not resign themselves to fate. These people might only be small hooligans on ordinary days, and they might even have committed all kinds of evil deeds. However, human nature still existed in the end. It was not impossible for the prodigal son to repent and become a hero in the end. Old Man Li heard that and did not refute any more. There were people like that whether it was in the past or now. Some of the grandmaster powerhouses today might not have been very amazing when they were young. However, when they knew about the existence of the catacombs, many of them eventually made breakthroughs, even stepping into the grandmaster realm. Fang Ping did not interrupt either of them. After they finished speaking, Fang Ping said, "Will the rank 6 ranking list be released next?" Today, the ranking list of all ranks was out. The only one that did not have it was the rank 6 ranking list. The purpose of the ranking list was to promote martial strength and strength. It was also to stimulate martial artists' desire to become stronger. There was no first place in literature and no second place in martial arts. Martial artists still had the hot-bloodedness. No one would feel that they were inferior to others of the same rank. The appearance of the ranking list and the ranking list would make many people choose to make greater breakthroughs in the same rank. This was also what the government wanted to see. If all of them became vitality martial artists and only had a rank but no strength, then the probability of such martial artists dying in the catacombs was too high. A rank 7 might not be able to defeat some rank SXS. But once you enter the catacombs powerhouses would not care if you were a weak rank 7 or not. If you were a rank 7, the other party would definitely send a rank 7 or even someone of a higher rank to kill you. If you were too weak, then you would be courting death. To put it more seriously, it might affect the entire war situation. Once a great war broke out, judging from the ranks alone, both sides were equal in strength. The deployment and response would also be made under the situation of equal strength. However, if a same-rank weakling was quickly killed by the other party, then it would be troublesome. It would cause a chain reaction, just like that time in the Nanjiang catacombs. Commander Zhou Dingguo was considered a powerhouse among the same-rank powerhouses. That day, he resisted 3 rank 8s for a long time. However, if he was a rank 8 weakling like Old Manly, then it would be a tragedy. He would be quickly killed by the 3 of them. Without the 3 golden bodies restraining them, the remaining rank 7s would all die. If the rank 7s and 8s were all dead, Wu Chuan would probably be surrounded and killed. Therefore, even though an individual's same-rank powerhouse's strength seemed to be his own business, in reality, it affected the whole situation. The rank 6 ranking list had not been published yet because many peak rank 6 powerhouses were still in the catacombs. Moreover, it was unknown whether they were dead or alive. However, the government might not care about these now. They would make a ranking list first. Huang Jing thought for a while and said, "It's probably going to be published soon. The government has more information than we do. It's not impossible that the government doesn't know about some missing powerhouses." Fang Ping raised his eyebrows slightly. Then, do they know all the information about the evil sect powerhouses? The evil sects don't have powerhouses on the ranking list, but there are many of them. I've seen some rank 7s and 8s. Even if they knew, they wouldn't publish it. Huang Jing shook his head. Nowadays, what humans needed was unity. How could they tell the public that a group of high-rank powerhouses was causing internal strife? Fang Ping did not say much after hearing that. He only said regretfully, the ranking list determination is actually not very reliable. I didn't even get on the rank 5 ranking list. You should know that I fought with a rank 9 in the catacombs, which rank 5 is stronger than me. Huang Jing shut up immediately. Could he not mention this? You fought with a rank 9? All right, he knew a little about what happened to Fang Ping in the Nanjiang catacombs. He did fight with a rank 9. For example, from a distance of more than 10 li, fighting with a few of the other party's routes should also be considered fighting with a rank 9, right? If that was the case back then, Li Chongqing had also fought with a rank 9 when he was a rank 5. As for him, he had also fought with a rank 9 before. Because he had seen a rank 9 battle from afar, there were also aftershocks. However, Fang Ping's ability was indeed not weak. At the very least, his foundation was solid and unparalleled. As he said that, Huang Jing suddenly said, "Oh right, did you guys notice the annular solar eclipse yesterday?" Fang Ping shook his head. He did not pay much attention to it. On the other hand, Old Man Li's expression was slightly solemn. He nodded slightly and said, "I noticed it. It seems like an energy tide erupted in some areas." Huang Jing said softly, "Earth's energy concentration has increased." Yesterday's annular solar eclipse seemed to have opened up something similar to the feeling of opening up the catacombs passageway. However, a Grandmaster has explored it. Other than the opening of the passageway on the island, no new passageway has appeared. Old Man Li said softly, "What I'm afraid of is, will the catacombs passageway appear in outer space?" Huang Jing's brows furrowed immediately. Fang Ping could not help but say, "It can't be right. Are they really planning to attack Earth from outer space? If that's the case, they might as well open up more passageways on Earth. The catacombs don't have any high-tech. If they really open up a passageway in outer space, then other than high ranks, middle and low ranks won't be able to survive at all." Old Man Li said faintly, "Maybe they're planning something that we don't pay attention to. After all, it's easier to break through the humans' defense if they work together." Human powerhouses had been keeping an eye on the catacombs' passageways. However, if powerhouses attacked from outer space or blended into the human world, no one might really notice them. Fang Ping frowned. This could not be prevented. Although there were a lot of satellites in every country now, a person in the universe was as small as a speck of dust. It was really difficult to notice them, especially powerhouses who already had strong mobility. If they had enough understanding of human technology, it would be very easy to avoid them. Rank 7 and 8 might not have much freedom in outer space. However, once they reached rank 9, Fang Ping believed that it would not be difficult for them to survive. Perhaps rank 8 would be able to do as they pleased. It was not a lie to say that their golden bodies were indestructible. We've thought about it. The powerhouses should have thought about it too. Fang Ping said nonchalantly, "Moreover, I don't think it's possible to open up a passageway anywhere. If that's the case, 104 passageways would be opened in Sino Nation or other small countries. They would have collapsed long ago. I think the opening of the passageways might have something to do with life energy." Fang Ping made a casual guess. The so-called life energy. Fang Ping was referring to human life energy. From the current distribution of the catacombs' passageways were more likely to appear in places with more people. The location of the passageway connecting the two worlds might be determined based on this. Humans had guessed this a long time ago. The possibility was still not small. Huang Jing and Old Manly nodded. Perhaps. Worrying about the appearance of passageways in outer space now was also a groundless worry. This matter should be worried about the higher-ups and peerless powerhouses of every country. As they were chatting, the school administration director knocked on the door and entered. Seeing that all three of them were there, the school administration director greeted them for a while. Then he said, "Vice-Chancellor, Dean, there's a document from the Education Ministry." "What document?" "All schools are required to report the specific information of rank 6 martial artists, cultivation progress, catacombs battle results, statistics of enemies killed." The school administration director spoke for a while, then said, "I've asked the people from the Education Ministry. It should be for the rank 6 ranking list. However, the Education Ministry has hinted that they might want to prioritize nurturing a batch of Grandmaster-level powerhouses." Fang Ping and the others were shocked. Fang Ping said quickly, "Prioritizing nurturing a batch of Grandmasters? Does this mean that the government is prepared to sponsor these rank 6 powerhouses? I know that the government must have a lot of good stuff. Energy stones, life essence, even some monster plant fruits. The government must have a reserve. If that's the case, doesn't that mean we can take advantage of it?" At this point, Fang Ping said immediately, "Report all the information of MCMAU's rank 6 powerhouses. Also, make them sound more powerful. If the government really wants to prioritize nurturing a batch of people, then we'll make a huge profit." In terms of good stuff, MCMAU definitely could not compare to the government's reserve. At the moment, it was hard to say how many monster beasts and monster plants those powerhouses had killed. However, other things aside, during the capital city catacombs battle that year, when 2 cities were destroyed, there must be a lot of good stuff. The government might not have many things like the sunflower seeds from the monster sunflower in Monster Sunflower City, but Fang Ping guessed that they definitely had them. This was something that could increase one's mental strength. For middle and high-ranked martial artists, no matter how precious or how much vitality-replenishing pills or energy-replenishing energy stones were, they could not compare to things that could increase mentality. This was a truly rare resource, even rarer than divine weapons. Divine weapons could still be refined after killing high-ranked monster beasts and monster plants. Things that could increase mentality might not necessarily be available after killing high-ranked monsters. Huang Jing frowned slightly and said, "If that's the case, it means that the situation is indeed getting more and more tense. The government is going to use its reserve resources. However, there are many rank 6 martial artists in Sino Nation. I'm guessing that even if there are things that can help with breakthrough, there won't be too many. I just don't know how the government will choose a batch of people. Judging from their strength alone, I'm afraid that it will cause a lot of dissatisfaction. After all, some people, like some generals in the military department, have extremely dazzling battle results. Fong Ping did not care about this. After thinking for a while, he said, "Why don't we apply for me too? I think I'm going to reach rank 6 soon. If there are really benefits to be distributed and I miss it, that would be such a pity." The dean was stunned for a moment. Huang Jing and old man Li were also speechless. "You really dared to say it?" Fong Ping said seriously, "It's true. I think it won't be long before I reach rank 6. Maybe I'll break through before the government's policies come out. If I miss those good things, wouldn't it be a pity?" Old man Li said wearily, "All right, shut up. We'll talk about it when you reach rank 6. However, I think I should be able to apply for it. After all, I'm only rank 6. Huang Jing's face darkened. The dean was completely dumbfounded. What was going on? Even Dean Li had started pretending to be a rank 6. He had not even mentioned the benefits. Old man Li said seriously, "Just get me off the rank 8 ranking. I'm a real rank 6. If there really is something that can increase mentality, it's better to give it to me than to others." Huang Jing's face darkened. "Don't embarrass MCMAU. If the outside world says you're a rank 8, then you're a rank 8. For the sake of some benefits that we don't even know if there are any, now you want to be a rank 6. What will the outside world think of MCMAU?" He glared at old man Li, then at Fong Ping. Huang Jing was mentally exhausted. Next time, he would not talk to these two bastards about this anymore. Seeing that the dean was still waiting, Huang Jing said, "Just report all the information about the rank 6 martial artists in the school. Report it truthfully. If they really want to train some grandmasters, there's still hope for MCMAU to get a few places." Others aside, Lu Fengru and Tang Feng had not broken through yet. There might be a chance. "All right. Vice-Chancellor, Dean, I'll leave first." The dean did not stay any longer. If he stayed any longer, his worldview would be ruined. Rank 5s pretending to be rank 6s. Rank 8s pretending to be rank 6s. Did they really think that the government would not review it? As soon as the dean left, Huang Jing began to chase people away. Finally, he thought for a while and said, "Get everyone back from Nanjiang before the end of the year. We can enter on a large scale now. People from other places are rushing to Nanjiang. Don't throw your life away for some benefits. This is the best way." Fong Ping nodded. It had been almost 20 days since Chen Yunqi and the rest entered the catacombs. In addition, it would be the new year in less than a month. Although martial artists had great responsibilities, reunion during the new year was also a concept that most Sino Nation martial artists had. Nowadays, even some catacombs that had been at war for many years knew that there would be fewer martial artists in the land of rebirth during the new year. In previous years, there were even catacomb cities that attacked during this time. However, while there were fewer martial artists, during the new year, there were more powerhouses keeping watch. Grandmaster-level powerhouses might not usually enter the catacombs. On the contrary, they would spend most of their time in the catacombs during the new year, mainly to relieve some of the martial artists stationed there. Thinking of this, Fong Ping wondered, would the martial artists stationed in the catacombs celebrate the new year? If they did, would the catacombs humans be confused? Right? Did the catacombs have festivals like New Year's Eve and the New Year? Chapter 409, January 20th. Just as Fong Ping predicted, on this day, Sino Nation announced the rank 6 ranking list to the public. At this point, the ranking list for all grades was complete. Fong Ping was not on the rank 5 ranking list. He did not care too much and did not pay much attention to it. However, in the rank 6 ranking, a few people from MCMAU had made it into the list. The middle and low ranks list was different from the high ranks list, which only listed the top 100. As for MCMAU, quite a number of people had entered the ranking this time. Tang Feng, 6th place on the rank 6 ranking list. Lu Fengru was ranked 8th. Luo Yichuan, 37th. The peak rank 6 in charge of Magic City's catacombs, the chubby-faced old man Zhang Jinhong, was also ranked 64th on the list. Other than Old Man Lee, MCMAU only had 6 peak rank SAXS at the moment, and 4 of them were on the list. The 2 peak powerhouses from the School of Liberal Arts and the School of Production were not on the list. This also meant that there were more than 100 peak rank 6 powerhouses. Tang Feng was ranked 6th, while Lu Fengru was ranked 8th. Fang Ping still had some doubts. Lu Fengru's mentality-vitality fusion was reported to the Ministry of Education. Even so, Tang Feng's ranking was still higher than Lu Fengru's. Clearly, the government had thought that Tang Feng was stronger than Lu Fengru, who had undergone mentality-vitality fusion. Was that even possible? Old Man Li had said before that Tang Feng was stronger than Lu Fengru. Even without mentality-vitality fusion, Tang Feng could enter the top ranks of rank 6. Now, the experts on the ranking list obviously thought so too. Was Big Lion really that strong? 4 of them entered the rank 6 top 100 ranking, and 2 of them entered the top 10. This time, MCMAU could be considered to have demonstrated the strength of the number 1 elite university. In the rank 6 ranking list, CCMAU also had 4 people on the list, but only one of them was in the top 10. Moreover, his ranking was not high, only 9th. Fu Changding's grandfather, Fu Guosheng, was also on the list, but he was not too high up. He was a little lower than Luo Yichuan, ranked 48th. Of course, being able to enter the top 100 meant that Fu Changding's grandfather was not weak. As for the rank 6 ranking list, Fang Ping had never heard of the few names before Tang Feng. It was very likely that they were old antiques. 2 from the army, 1 from the sects, and the other 2 only had names, not belonging to any faction. This meant that they were independent martial artists who had not joined any organization. Martial Arts Club. Nowadays, there were very few people in the Martial Arts Society. They had either gone to Nanjiang or were cultivating in the Southern District. At this moment, on the Martial Arts Society side, other than Fang Ping, the only middle-ranked idler left was Qin Fengqing. Both of them had just broken through, so they were not in a hurry to cultivate. Qin Fengqing was not in a hurry, mainly because he had spent all his credits. He had been relying on himself to absorb energy for the past few days. Both of them were idle. Although Qin Fengqing did not really like Fang Ping, he did not have many friends in school. He could not even find someone to chat with. Passing by the Martial Arts Society, Qin Fengqing saw that Fang Ping had nothing to do, so he dropped by to take a look. Then he would pour out his grievances. Things haven't been going well lately. Fang Ping, I suspect it's all because of you. You're bad. Luck has been passed on to me. Qin Fengqing sighed and smiled plainly. What did I do to you? Tell me, what's wrong with you? Qin Fengqing sighed. There were too many unlucky things. Looking for a job wasn't going well. He submitted his resume to Nanjiang, but Nanjiang didn't want him. He was so angry that he almost exploded. He joined the military, the Department of Investigation Services, the Guardian's Mansion. In the end, they were all rejected without exception. Qin Fengqing was puzzled. What was going on? He was a peak rank for martial artist after all. Why was he so unpopular? Previously, the Southern Guardian's Mansion had promised him. That was a promise from the rank 9 Guardian himself. It was not a problem for him to go to the Guardian's Mansion. In the end, he submitted his resume, and the other party rejected him. Qin Fengqing was so angry that his liver hurt. Wu Chuan was still in Nanjiang's catacombs. He told the Southern Guardian's Mansion that the Guardian had promised him personally. In the end, the other party ignored him. Of course, Qin Fengqing was too lazy to tell Fang Ping about his job rejection. This guy would definitely laugh at him. Qin Fengqing did not talk about this. Instead, he talked about the rank 4 ranking list. He complained, I've entered peak rank 4. Are there still any rank for opponents for me? In the end, I'm only 96th on the ranking list. How much are they looking down on me? I, Qin Fengqing, have met countless high ranks and killed a bunch of rank as success. In the end, I'm only 96th. How is this ranking determined? It's complete nonsense. Do I have to challenge them one by one? Let's not talk about this. Fong Ping, you've gone too far. Why was my channel shut down about the school's credit loan? Everyone else can borrow, but I can't. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Fong Ping said seriously, I didn't do this. It's really the system's evaluation. You're too risky. Not only is it risky, but your credit is also bad. You're often overdue. You've borrowed money a few times before. It was always the platform that came to you to collect the debt. Only then did you pay back the credits. Think about it. Would they still lend it to you? Didn't I forget about it? Qin Fengqing was speechless. I'm so busy. Who would remember to pay the debt every month? I thought it was once a year, Fong Ping sneered. You forget about it when it's time to pay back the money. You're so proactive when it's time to borrow money. He could not be bothered with him. This guy deserved it for not being able to borrow money. Even if he managed to borrow it, it would be squandered in no time. After chatting for a while, Qin Fengqing thought for a while and said, There's one more thing. It's quite unlucky. Do you remember that tigress? Tigress? Fong Ping thought for a while before asking suspiciously, You mean that Zhou Qiue from Magic City Women University? Yes. Qin Fengqing sighed. It's this woman. She's been pestering me lately. It's so annoying. The corner of Fong Ping's mouth twitched. He could not help but ask, Pestering you? How? How else can I pester her? Qin Fengqing said helplessly. She sent me a message saying that she wanted to spar with me. She thinks I'm stupid. Spar? She just wants to take the opportunity to have something happen between us. Women are all like that. If we really spar, she'll definitely pretend to be injured and ask me to send her back. She might even have to stay in the hospital and ask me to visit her every day. Women are so troublesome. Tell me, why is she pestering me? Fong Ping did not know how to reply. The spar that Zhou Qiue mentioned was probably a real spar, right? Shaking his head, Fong Ping did not say much. He would let Qin Fengqing worry about it himself. As the two of them were chatting, Chen Zhenhua walked in. Chen Zhenhua rarely came to the martial arts society. Fong Ping was slightly surprised to see him suddenly this time. He stood up and said, Dean Chen, why are you here? Chen Zhenhua felt a headache coming on. He sat down and complained, Lion Tang is missing. Dean Li can't be found either. Vice-Chancellor Wu and Vice-Chancellor Huang are nowhere to be seen. Vice-Chancellor Liu is still recuperating. Dean Luo went to Nanjiang. Dean, who went to capital city yesterday for business. MCMAU is so big, but there's no one in charge now. Everything has been thrown to me. The other instructors are either in closed-door cultivation or cultivating. They're all crazy. I can't even pull them out. But now it's the end of the semester. The final assessment is coming. Can I manage thousands of students by myself? Can't the Martial Arts Society do something? It's fine if others aren't here, but you two have the time to chat. Can't you go and help? Fong Ping was stunned. After a while, he said, Final assessment. I don't know about this. I know that MCMAU has a final assessment, but he has not participated in it even once since he entered MCMAU for 3 semesters. In the first semester of his freshman year, he did not participate in the assessment to prepare for the first martial arts championship. In the second semester, the assessment began. He entered the catacombs. When he came out, the assessment had already ended. Now it was the third semester. This semester, however, no one asked him to take the assessment. Fong Ping had forgotten about this. Qin Fengqing was even worse than him. With a dumbfounded expression, he asked, MCMAU has a final assessment. This time, it was Chen Zhenhua's turn to be dumbfounded. These two, were they really MCMAU students? Fong Ping. All right, let's not talk about Fong Ping for now. Qin Fengqing was a student who was about to graduate. Fong Ping was also stunned. You're already a senior. You're about to graduate. You don't know that MCMAU has a final assessment. Fong Ping knew about it, but he did not participate. Seeing the two of them looking at him, Qin Fengqing said gloomily, "Why are you looking at me? I really didn't know about it. At the end of the first and second semester of my freshman year, I had something to do at home and left early. No one told me about it. In the first semester of my sophomore year, that bastard Wang Jinyang came to provoke me. I was injured and hospitalized. In the second semester of my sophomore year, I happened to be entering rank 3, so I've been in closed-door cultivation. In my junior year, I started entering the catacombs. I'm not even in school at the end of the semester. I really didn't know that we have a final assessment." Qin Zhenhua suddenly felt very tired. He gave up. These two were more powerful than the other. One had probably forgotten about it, and the other did not know about it at all. Qin Zhenhua, who was extremely helpless, could only say, "Nonsense. Of course there is a final assessment. It's divided into martial arts assessment and social sciences assessment. Also, the school will give out some credits as rewards every year. Many students can't take on missions because of their strength, so they can only rely on the assessment to get some credits." Qin Fengqing's eyes lit up instantly. He said quickly, "Credits reward? Dean, how much are the rewards for seniors?" "Seniors, there are no rewards for seniors." Qin Zhenhua said with a faint smile, "Seniors have passed the stage where they need subsidies. Also, a lot of students are not in school, so there are no subsidies for seniors." Fong Ping did not ask about sophomores. He did not really care about this little bit of subsidies now. In the past, he would have asked and then participated in the exam. Now, however, the rewards were at most 100 or 200 credits. He really did not care too much. After hearing this, Qin Fengqing was a little disappointed. He was very poor now. He had finally found an opportunity, but there was no subsidy for seniors. In reality, at their stage, the school subsidies were very little. When Fong Ping had just broken through to rank 4, the school had given him quite a lot of credits as subsidies. However, when he broke through to rank 5, there was no more. According to the school, the middle ranks were only subsidized once. There was no reward for rank 4 to rank 5. For martial artists in the 3 lower ranks, there was a lot of support. For the 3 middle ranks, the school meant for self-reliance. Qin Zhenhua explained, then said, "Since you guys have nothing to do, arrange for some people to help me assess the freshmen. There are more freshmen this year. Many instructors are not in school now. The others are also in a critical period. We lack manpower. You guys can help solve this." Qin Fengqing was not interested. He said, disinterestedly, "I'm very busy. I need to cultivate. Cut the crap." Qin Zhenhua was really having a headache now. He scolded, "You've just broken through to peak rank 4. You have the time to wander around, but you don't have the time to help the school solve a small problem? If you don't do it, I suggest that you be removed from your position as vice president of the Martial Arts Society." As soon as these words came out, Qin Fengqing wilted. He had received a lot of salary from the Martial Arts Society, and it had been paid in advance. Last time, Fong Ping withheld it. After that, in order to prepare for the second championship, he still paid it to him. Now that he had spent it all, if he was removed from his position, with Fong Ping's personality, he would definitely come to him to collect the debt. "All right, then," Qin Fengqing nodded. Then his eyes suddenly lit up. "Instructor Tang isn't in school?" "Yes. Recently he went into the catacombs to cultivate in seclusion. The energy concentration in the catacombs was higher than on Earth. Tang Feng did not want to waste energy stones for cultivation, so he went into the Magic City catacombs a few days ago." Qin Fengqing raised his eyebrows. Tang Wen was a freshman, right? Big Lion had beaten him up once last time. He insisted that he had blackmailed Tang Wen. It did not make sense at all. After that, he bullied him again and sent him flying once. Now, it seemed like the opportunity had come. Qin Fengqing suddenly laughed. All right, Dean Chin, then I'll take it. It's a small matter. I'll be the examiner this once. Qin Zhenhua glanced at him. Fang Ping also looked at him. This guy seemed to be looking for trouble. When he asked if Tang Feng was in school, Fang Ping could guess what he was planning. If he could not deal with Tang Feng, then he would deal with his daughter. This was also Fang Ping's original plan. Now that Fang Ping had tricked Big Lion into supporting him fully, it was not good to continue tormenting Tang Wen. However, looking at Qin Fengqing's intentions, was he looking for trouble? Did this guy think that he had not been beaten up enough? When Tang Feng returned, he might have to deal with him again. Not caring whether this guy died or not, Fang Ping also nodded. All right then, I'll arrange for rank 3 students in school to be in charge of assessing the freshmen. As he said that, Fang Ping thought for a while and said, Dean Chin, if you need to cultivate, you can also put these trivial matters aside. When the rank 6 ranking list comes out, you and Dean, who? Qin Zhenhua's expression stiffened slightly. Don't mention this. Of the 6 peak rank 6 in MCMAU, only he and the dean of the School of Production were not on the list. It was indeed embarrassing. However, Sino Nation was so big and there were many rank 6 martial artists. There were also some old antiques. It was understandable that he was not on the list. Fang Ping did not intend to hurt his feelings. What he meant was that peak rank 6 martial artists had a chance to become grandmasters. At this juncture, it was better to think of ways to become grandmasters. Moreover, Fang Ping suspected that if the government really wanted to subsidize rank 6 martial artists, it would probably be the powerhouses on the list. Not to mention the sects, the martial arts universities, and people from the military department who were on the list were probably the targets of subsidies. If Chan Zhenhua's ability was slightly stronger, it would be best to challenge the people on the list to prepare for what came next. Fang Ping explained the situation to him. Chen Zhenhua pondered for a moment, nodded, and said, It makes sense. If there are really potions or other things that can increase mentality, it is indeed worth a try. With a plan in mind, Qin Zhenhua did not say anything more. After leaving the freshman assessment to the Martial Arts Society, Qin Zhenhua left quickly. As soon as he left, Fang Ping saw that Qin Fengqing was about to say something and said with a smile, Qin Fengqing, this assessment task is handed over to you. Qin Fengqing was instantly overjoyed and said hurriedly, No problem. Seeing him leave happily, Fang Ping observed a moment of silence for him. You better take it easy. There were many children of MCMAU instructors among this batch of freshmen. Tang Feng's daughter, Luo Yichuan's son, and the children of a few rank 6 instructors were also there. If Qin Fengqing found fault in the assessment, if he was beaten to death later, he could not blame others. He asked for it. Fang Ping did not really care about the MCMAU students' end-of-term assessment. It was a group of students who were mainly aspiring martial artists and rank 1 martial artists. Rank 3 students were enough for the assessment. At this time, Fang Ping was busy communicating with NMAU, SCMAU, and CCMAU, preparing to launch the platform integration policy. This matter had already been prepared during the championship. Fang Ping wanted to collect more raw materials for MCMAU and sell them to the students from other schools. That was not the cost price, but double the price. CCMAU was fine, but the other schools had a demand. Even if it was double the price, it was still cheaper than if they bought it themselves. The other martial arts universities did not have enough pills and weapons to supply. Even CCMAU was similar to MCMAU in the past. The supply of pills was not enough to satisfy the students' cultivation needs. After the reform, the difficulty of obtaining credits in MCMAU had decreased. Even if the price was double the previous supply, it was still about the same as CCMAU's current price. If CCMAU felt that the supply of pills and weapons was not enough, it was not impossible to exchange from MCMAU. Other than that, Fang Ping was also communicating and negotiating with a few schools about combat techniques and instructors. Fang Ping was ready to turn the e-commerce platform into a modern martial arts community. Now that they had entered 2010, the 3G network had been promoted for more than a year. There were also many 3G-enabled smartphones in the market. As communication became more convenient, Fang Ping felt that martial arts communication would become easier as well. In the past, when people asked for advice on martial arts, they would communicate face-to-face, and they might not even find the person. Now, Fang Ping felt that things like video chat and voice chat on mobile phones were actually valuable, and they were not just simple chatting. Making the exchange of martial arts more convenient was a great benefit for martial artists. In addition, the government was now promoting martial arts for all. The news of the catacombs could be made public at any time, and more people would enter the martial arts world in the future. Nowadays, the general public's understanding of martial arts mainly came from martial arts training classes. There were only bits and pieces of information on the internet. While Fang Ping was preparing to build an e-commerce platform, he also wanted to build a relatively professional martial arts community. The government was actually doing this, but most of the time, the government might not be better than the private sector. When I first entered the school, I wanted to be the biggest martial arts resource distributor. Now, it seems like it might not be impossible. Fang Ping could not help but feel a sense of accomplishment after communicating with the various schools. Some of the fantasies of the past were no longer fantasies. He had already started to take the first step. As for the delivery company, Fang Ping felt that maybe one-day delivery to the catacombs was not a fantasy. I still need to have dreams, or else I'll be no different from a salted fish. As Fang Ping was busy, New Year's Eve was approaching. MCMAU was about to start its winter break. On the 28th of January, the batch of students and instructors who went to Nanjiang returned. Chapter 410. The trip to the Nanjiang catacombs had been relatively safe because it was the first time both parties had encountered each other. However, once they entered the catacombs, there was no such thing as a foolproof plan. This time, there was still a situation where the number of people was reduced. An instructor and a student were ambushed by a peak rank 4 monster when they were mining the mineral veins. The others were further away and could not rescue them in time. Both of them were killed almost instantly in the mine tunnel. It was hard to blame anyone when they encountered such an unexpected situation. Luo Yichuan, who was leading the team, was on guard at the time. The monster hid very well in the beginning. Luo Yichuan's mentality had not reached the stage where he could release it, so he did not sense it. When they arrived, they were already dead. Encountering such a situation, they could only resign themselves to fate. They were used to seeing death. This time, 2 people died. Everyone might feel sad, but it was not to the extent of being too sad. Treating every trip to the catacombs as a final farewell was a martial artist's philosophy. If there were too many casualties, everyone would not be able to accept it. If the casualties were within a reasonable range, other than family and friends who would be sad, everyone else would be sad for a while. Because many of them were injured, Fang Ping and the others who were still in school did not do too much formality. Those who needed to heal healed. Those who needed to cultivate cultivated. This time, everyone had gained a lot in the catacombs. After some time, after digesting what they had gained this time, this batch of instructors and students would improve their strength. Furthermore, this time, everyone had experienced many battles. Many of the students seemed to be much more mature and steady than before. As for the others, some were healing, some were resting. After they had all left, Fang Ping glanced at Qin Yunqi, who had not left. He could not help but rub his temples, smiling. Congratulations. Qin Yunqi, who had only broken through to upper stage rank 3 in mid-December, had actually broken through to peak rank 3 this time. This speed was extremely fast. Qin Yunqi broke into a smile. She could not hide her excitement. It's all because you gave life essence last time. Fong Ping coughed softly and interrupted her. He felt that next time he should use the term energy essence to define that thing. If anyone mentioned life essence to him again, he would be angry with them. However, Chen Yunqi's breakthrough indeed had a lot to do with energy essence. Although Fong Ping did not give her much last time, Chen Yunqi was only at rank 3. From upper stage to peak rank 3, she did not hone her bones. She only needed to achieve unity of fist force. With the help of the energy essence, Chen Yunqi had fought many times with the enemies in the catacombs. Soon, she had crossed the threshold and stepped into peak rank 3. From the looks of it, maybe you'll break through to rank for earlier than Han Su. Before Fong Ping could finish a sentence, Chen Yunqi said softly, "Let's not talk about others. Fong Ping, it's almost New Year. How are you going to spend it?" Fong Ping was speechless. "How else can I live? Live normally?" "No, that's not what I meant." Although Chen Yunqi was usually reserved and shy, she was extremely bold at this moment. She whispered, "I mean, if it's the New Year. After the New Year, I'll go to Nanjiang to play. What do you think?" Fong Ping coughed lightly. "I'll be returning to Magic City after the New Year. I still have things to do. You've just come back. You should go back and rest early." "Oh, then what hobbies do Uncle, Auntie, and Sister Fong Yuan have? I'll buy some gifts. Can you deliver them for me?" When Fong Ping heard this, he suddenly laughed. "Hobbies. Fong Yuan likes money. Why don't you give her some?" Chen Yunqi was stunned. She had met Fong Yuan before. Fong Yuan had also come to MCMAU twice before. However, this hobby that Fong Ping mentioned was so special. No, it was not special. Fong Ping seemed to like money a lot in the past. Fong Ping was joking, but Chen Yunqi pondered for a while. She blinked and nodded. "I know. What do Uncle and Auntie like?" Fong Ping looked at her deeply for a while. He said softly, "Don't worry about these things. Work hard on your cultivation. The situation is getting worse. You've just come out of the catacombs, so I'm afraid you don't understand it too well. If nothing goes wrong, a great war will break out in the next few years. When that time comes, martial artists below the high ranks will all be cannon fodder. If you and I were normal people, we could ignore all these. If the sky falls, the tall ones will hold it up. But you and I are not. At the very least, I won't sit and wait for disaster to come." Chen Yunqi bit her lip. After a while, she nodded again. "Aha, I know. I'm too stubborn. Fong Ping, I won't disturb your cultivation." Fong Ping was tired. Women were just like Qin Fengqing said, troublesome. Forget it. He was too lazy to continue talking. Whatever had to be done, he would do it. Fong Ping did not care about Chen Yunqi anymore. Just like what she said, Chen Yunqi did not show too much. At this moment, she was also seizing the time to cultivate, preparing to break through to rank 4. When these people came back, it was already the 14th of December. At this time, normal universities had already started their winter break. In MCMAU, according to the curriculum, it had also entered the holidays. However, this year, there were very few people who left early. The energy cultivation room and the vitality pool were almost full every day. Some students did not plan to go back for the New Year this year. They did not plan to go back, but Fong Ping did. He planned to enter the Magic City catacombs after the New Year. Throughout the year, it was rare for him to go home a few times. Even during the summer break, he was still on the northbound road. Every time he went home, he passed by in a hurry. When the New Year came, Fong Ping still preferred to spend the New Year at home. He did not want to travel all the time and make his family worry. On the 1st of February, the 18th of December, Fong Ping had also settled the school's affairs. The issue of the platform integration had also been confirmed, and it would only be started next semester. After settling all these, Fong Ping packed up and prepared to go home. In the end, when he was about to go home, Li Qingzi's call forced Fong Ping to delay for a while to go to the company to settle some matters. Distance Company did not seem to be providing as much help to Fong Ping as he had expected. However, Fong Ping did not plan to give up. Now, Distance Company was expanding to the whole country. Express delivery takeout platform. In Fong Ping's opinion, they still complemented each other. When the e-commerce platform completed its expansion, there might be a time when it would be useful. Moreover, at this moment, Fong Ping had also thought it through. As the situation worsened and technology advanced, once the whole nation really practiced martial arts, then everyone's time would be even tighter. At this time, it would be an opportunity for takeout delivery. Some people, in order to cultivate, might not even have time to go out to eat. But they still had to eat. Before reaching the middle ranks, it was still very necessary to eat. Even at this moment, Fong Ping would not completely give up the habit of eating. Even if he did not eat for a month, he would not feel hungry. In January, the school also gave Fong Ping 600 million as a fee for providing celestiality. This time, Fong Ping did not waste it, throwing it all to Distance Company. Last time, he sold shares of the ordering platform, but no one else had shares in the takeout delivery and express delivery network. Fong Ping now had money, and he did not need it much, so he invested it in the company to try. If it could really develop and grow in the future, it might also provide him with tens of billions of wealth. That was not a small amount. The next time the system upgraded, it might be hundreds of billions of wealth. Fong Ping felt that if he wanted to earn hundreds of billions of wealth, it would still be very difficult. Even mining. It was not like there were mines everywhere for him to dig. Mining in the royal city sounded easy, but the royal city's mine veins were extremely well protected. That was walking a tightrope with the risk of being discovered by a rank 9. A little carelessness, and he would lose his life. Unless there was no other way, or if he had a foolproof plan, Fong Ping would not rashly go mining. After settling the company's matters, it was already February 3rd. On this day, Fong Ping decided to go home. Before going home, Fong Ping originally planned to meet with Qin Fengqing to remind him to return early after the New Year. In the end, he did not find him. After asking around for a while, Fong Ping found out that Qin Fengqing was hiding somewhere. Tang Feng was back. Not only Tang Feng, but Luo Yichuan had also returned to school. During the freshman year's final exam, Qin Fengqing used a chicken feather as a token of authority, satisfying the craving of being an examiner. This person had almost forgotten what his surname was once he grasped all the power in his hands. During the exam, Qin Fengqing made things difficult for a few freshman students many times. Among them, Tang Wen was the main target of his retaliation. The freshman year's final exam was originally only to test vitality, pole standing progress, and basic combat techniques. For Tang Wen, who had already stepped into rank 2, this was child's play. However, Qin Fengqing insisted on adding an actual combat assessment, saying that he wanted to test everyone's true combat level. This shameless guy personally went up to do the assessment. He was a peak rank for martial artist. Even if he stood there and let Tang Wen hit him, Tang Wen might not be able to do anything to him. In the end, Qin Fengqing was not the kind of Mr. Nice Guy who would let others hit him. This guy took the opportunity to beat Tang Wen up. At that time, it was extremely satisfying, and he felt that he had taken his revenge. At the same time, he also beat up a few other freshman genius martial artists. He always felt that these freshman geniuses were too arrogant and needed more polishing. In the end, he changed the assessment content carelessly and even beat up a few low-ranked martial artists. Before Chen Zhenhua could find him to settle the score, Tang Feng and Luo Yichuan returned one after another. Knowing that Qin Fengqing was a shameless guy who bullied the weak and used his power to bully others, the two of them were angry and went around looking for him to settle the score. Qin Fengqing was not stupid this time. He knew that there would be trouble, so he ran away in advance. No one knew where this guy went. Maybe he had already gone back to his hometown for the New Year. They could not even get through to him on the phone. Fong Ping had already expected this, but he did not expect Qin Fengqing to personally beat someone up. He thought that Qin Fengqing would increase the assessment difficulty for Tangwen, just to make things difficult for her. He did not expect Qin Fengqing to be so straightforward and just beat her up. Fang Ping did not know whether to laugh or cry. This guy was really narrow-minded. Unable to find him, Fang Ping did not continue looking. He would try to call him later. This guy could not hide for long. Without resources to cultivate, he was even more anxious than Fang Ping. He would show up sooner or later. Before leaving, Fang Ping met Chen Yunqi downstairs in the dormitory building. Chen Yunqi, who had not gone back yet, had purposely waited for him here. She had even brought him a gift. There were 3 gifts. 2 of them were for his parents. They were not 2 special gifts, just ordinary daily necessities. The 3rd gift was for Fang Yuan. This gift was done with all her heart. It was a cute crystal doll with a round face. The key was not that, but the doll was holding a huge gold ingot in its hand. Fang Ping weighed it in his hand. After a while, he did not know whether to laugh or cry. Is this real gold? The gold ingot was made of real gold. Chen Yunqi smiled and nodded. She said, "Don't you think it's cute? I think Sister Fang Yuan will definitely like it." Fang Ping smiled bitterly. "I think she will like it too." It might not be because she liked this cute doll. The key was that the ingot was made of gold, and the doll itself was made of natural crystal. This cartoon doll was not cheap to make. Of course, for martial artists, especially for Chen Yunqi's family, which had a grandmaster who was about to enter rank 8, this was not a big deal. Not to mention her family's financial situation. Even Chen Yunqi herself had gained a lot from her trip to the Nanjiang catacombs. Fang Ping stuffed the doll into the box, smiling and shaking his head. Fang Yuan would be overjoyed if she got it, right? He did not reject it. He stuffed the things into the car, thought for a while, and said, "I won't give you anything. As for Vice-Chancellor Chen and your parents, please send my regards." "Okay. Be careful on the way." Chen Yunqi did not mind. She waved and watched Fang Ping get into the car. Fang Ping got into the car and drove away. Not long after Fang Ping drove away from MCMAU, somewhere in Nanjiang, in an ordinary residential building, in a small house, there were a few men and women gathered at the moment. One of the middle-aged men hung up the phone and said lightly, "Fang Ping has left MCMAU. Sir, are we really going to attack Fang Ping?" As soon as the middle-aged man finished speaking, an old man beside him frowned slightly. When he saw the middle-aged man looking at him, he bowed slightly and said, "Fang Ping is only a rank 5 martial artist. He has no influence on the overall situation. If we attack him rashly and draw out a few of MCMAU's Grandmaster powerhouses, I think the losses outweigh the gains." The middle-aged man said coldly, "Fang Ping is not a dispensable existence. It was because of him that a few of our divine sects, Lord Guardians, were killed. The divine sect will never forget this. As for Fang Ping himself, this time in the Nanjiang catacombs he played a huge role and influence. Li Changxing and Lu Polu are both from MCMAU. Without Fang Ping's help, these 2 might not have helped Nanjiang. In the end, Li Changxing killed a rank 8 martial artist, causing the situation in the Nanjiang catacombs to change. The old man was a little hesitant, but after a moment he still said, "I'm worried that if we kill Fang Ping, MCMAU will become our enemy. Right now, MCMAU only cares about Magic City. The Grandmaster powerhouses in the university don't care about other things. Besides, sir, our goal is not to kill or injure human powerhouses." But the old man had not finished his sentence when the middle-aged man's expression turned cold instantly. He said coldly, "What are you questioning? The divine sect and the catacombs are not on the same side. The divine sect's goal is also to resist the catacombs' invasion. But now some stubborn people are preventing us from completely eliminating the catacombs' threat. It's all because of these people that there are more and more passageways and territories that are connected. If we had implemented the divine sex strategy earlier, targeting one of the territories and completely connecting the world barrier between Earth and one of the territories, then the suppression of the rules would no longer exist. We can totally enter the catacombs world through one of the territories and slaughter those catacombs powerhouses, completely annihilating them. And not like now, constantly being nibbled away by others. Everyone did not say anything else. The old man who questioned earlier was silent for a while, then said again, "Sir, the Pope once said that humans' life energy and vitality force are absorbed in large amounts by the passageways. Only then can we connect and expand these territory passageways and completely integrate them." The old man did not say anything doubtful, but his meaning was clear. The middle-aged man looked at him coldly and said, "Of course it's true. Sacrificing some people to completely connect the world barrier is feasible." Are you questioning the Pope's words? Do you know why the more people there are, the more likely it is that a passageway will appear? Because as long as humans are alive, they will constantly emit vitality force. This is the catalyst for the opening of the passageway. The world passageway doesn't exist in the first place, but because there are too many people, the vitality force produced is too strong and overflows into the void, triggering the opening of the passageway. Therefore, some people must be sacrificed not only to completely connect the world barrier, but also to reduce the chances of other passageways opening. You may think that it's cruel, but compared to the survival of mankind, the death of some people will allow the survival of others to be better, completely opening up a realm and letting martial practitioners and ordinary people fight in that realm. Even if they died, it would only affect that realm, not the whole world. The stubborn people were not unaware of all this, but they still chose the stupidest method, which was to let Earth be constantly nibbled away. If this continued, mankind would be destroyed by their hands sooner or later. People like Li Changsheng are hailed as heroes of mankind, but little do they know that it is precisely because of the existence of these idiots that mankind's situation is getting more and more difficult. If these idiots are willing to sacrifice for mankind, then let them die in the catacombs. As for Fan Ping, not only did he join forces with Zhang Dingnan and the rest to lure and kill the divine sex guardian, he himself is also a stubborn person. No, the martial arts university instructors and students are all stubborn people. It is because of them that the seemingly great sacrifice is actually fishing for fame, making mankind more and more dangerous, more and more difficult. Now, before a full-scale war breaks out, we must completely open one or a few passageways, connecting the boundaries. Move the humans from other areas to these boundaries. Without humans living, the passageways may close automatically. Perhaps. The old man murmured. These words obviously meant that he was not sure. This was gambling with the future of mankind. The old man's murmur made the middle-aged man's gaze turn colder. Even you are starting to doubt, are you starting to waver? Sooner or later, you will understand that the divine sect is the true savior of mankind. For the sake of mankind, why can't we sacrifice some people? Nowadays, those stubborn people are also prepared to sacrifice some people to buy time for mankind, aren't they? However, those stupid fellows have not learned their lesson. Ordinary people are the ones who should be sacrificed the most. If 90% of mankind died and 10% of the elites were left, they would be better off than they are now. Instead of letting elite martial artists be sacrificed like now, this is the most stupid policy in 100 years. A large number of mankind's hopes have been buried in the catacombs by these idiots. And what kind of people are they feeding? Those mediocre people who only know how to eat, drink, poop, and sleep, enjoying peace and stability, and still complaining about the injustice of society. If someone has to die, it should be these people who die first, not them. Thoughts flashed through the middle-aged man's mind. Finally, the indifference on his face dissipated, and he said softly, "No matter what, we must kill Fan Ping." In Magic City, it is not convenient for us to make a move. But in Nanjiang, there are not many powerhouses in Nanjiang now. Of course, it is not convenient for the Lord Guardians to make a move this time. It is easy to be targeted. Leave the task of killing Fang Ping to us. Fang Ping is very strong. This can be seen in the championship. After breaking through rank 5, he may be comparable to a peak rank 5 martial artist. Therefore, this time, I will make a move personally. Protector Zheng and Protector Mei follow me. As soon as he said that, everyone in the house was a little surprised. The middle-aged man was a peak rank 6 powerhouse. Of the 2 protectors whose names were called, the old man was also a rank 6 powerhouse. To kill a young man who had just entered rank 5, one of them was a peak rank 6 and 2 rank SXS. Under the circumstances that no high ranks were involved, it was already extremely important. Last time, to kill Fang Ping, they sent out high ranks, which resulted in many high ranks dying in battle. Nowadays, the higher-ups of mankind were keeping a close eye on them. Sending out high ranks would also easily attract attention. Under this premise, 3 rank SIXS killing a martial artist who had just entered rank 5 was already thinking highly of Fang Ping. The middle-aged man had already made his decision. Even he himself was going to make a move personally. The old man did not say anything more. He only said, slightly hesitantly, "Do we do it in Sun City?" The middle-aged man nodded. In Sun City, Fang Ping would not run. At least, he would not run unless he was in despair. That was because his family was there. In other places, if a rank 5 martial artist was determined to escape, even a rank 6 might not be able to kill him easily. Of course, it would be best if Fang Ping's family did not die so easily. If they died, Fang Ping would have no worries, and it would be difficult to kill him. If he escaped back to Magic City, killing Fang Ping in Magic City was not their goal. As he thought about it, the middle-aged man said again, "Take action on New Year's Eve." On that day, a large number of powerhouses would enter the catacombs to guard the catacombs. After they killed Fang Ping, they could also maximize their safety and escape quickly. This time, Fang Ping must die. Chapter 411. Sun City. It was already the 20th of the 12th lunar month when Fang Ping returned. The festive atmosphere of a small city was much stronger than that of a big city. The streets and alleys of a small sun city were filled with people. Fang Ping did not tell anyone that he was back. He had received many calls even before he reached home. In Nanjiang, the House of Governors had asked about Fang Ping's itinerary. In other words, the House of Governors was prepared to send him some festive gifts. Fang Ping wanted some peace and quiet when he returned home, so he rejected their good intentions. Other than the House of Governors, people called from Sun City, an auspicious Sun City. A few of his high school classmates also called to ask if he was coming back for the new year. Fang Ping's reputation had risen since the second martial arts university championship. He was no longer the minor celebrity he once was. Now he was known as the #1 person in Sino Nation Martial Arts University. Although this title was limited to students, being the #1 in the country was still a well-known title. Scenic Lake Gardens. Fang Ping opened the door and entered. Fang Yuan, who was lying on the sofa watching TV, poked her head out and looked at him. Then, she retracted her head and continued watching TV. Fang Ping was stunned for a moment. Was this girl seeing things? "Your brother is back. Gun gun." "Humph. Fang Yuan, your brother is back. Didn't you see him?" "I saw him." "Then why are you ignoring me, you stupid girl?" Fang Yuan poked her head out again and said angrily, "I don't want to talk to you. You lied to me." Fang Ping's heart skipped a beat. Who told this girl? Had his talent been exposed? As he thought about it, Fang Yuan pouted and said pitifully, "You said my talent could increase, and you even gave me medicine to increase it. But it's been so many days, and my talent hasn't increased at all. Now my vitality is stuck at 179 calories. Fang Ping, you big liar!" Fang Ping was stunned for a moment before he realized what she was talking about. He was speechless and said impatiently, "Nonsense. Isn't this normal? 180 calories, twice honed. You're stuck here. It means my talent is still too low." Her words made sense. Fang Ping could not refute her. He changed his shoes and entered the house, smiling. "What's the rush? It's normal to be stuck for a while when you hit a bottleneck. But your twice honing shouldn't be a problem. You'll probably be fine in a few days." Although twice honing had a requirement for talent, it was not too high. Usually the children of powerhouses could be twice honed. Was it because the children of the strong were more talented? That may not be the case. Twice honing was different from thrice honing. If he was willing to spend money, it was not impossible to throw it in. Of course, there was a limit to the human body. Some people really couldn't hit it. However, since Fang Yuan was able to reach the hurdle of 179 calories, twice honing should not be too difficult. This girl's progress was slightly faster than Fang Ping had expected. Fang Ping had thought that the girl would only be able to complete her twice honing at the end of her first year of high school. It had only been a semester. However, this also had something to do with the recent increase in energy concentration in Sun City. Nowadays, humans cultivated much faster than before. Many ordinary people could reach 110 calories and above in vitality just by standing a little closer to the passageway without taking any pills. In the past 2 years, students with 110 calories had been the talk of the town. Fang Yuan seemed to be in a better mood after hearing Fang Ping's words. She rested her head on the sofa and asked uncertainly, "Can I really twice hone?" "Of course." Fang Ping chuckled and went forward to pat her head. He grinned and said, "What a big pig head! You're the pig head." Fang Yuan rolled her eyes at him. Her mood improved and her smile returned. She said happily, "Fang Ping, does that mean I'll be a martial artist soon?" "I don't know," Fang Ping said casually. He looked around and asked, "Where's Mom and Dad?" "Dad's still at work. Mom went shopping with Annie Chun and the others." Fang Yuan suddenly saw the gift bag that Fang Ping had placed at the side. Seeing that Fang Ping had gone to pour tea, Fang Yuan sneakily poked her head out to take a look. Then she hurriedly opened the gift. When she opened the gift box that contained the Yuan Bao doll, Fang Yuan's eyes widened. "It's so cute." She turned her head to look at Fang Ping, who was still pouring water in the kitchen. Fang Yuan suppressed her joy and said, "Brother, did you bring me a gift this time?" "I forgot. Maybe next time. Why don't we go to the supermarket to buy some for you during the New Year?" "Oh, someone asked me to bring some gifts for a friend. Don't touch them. It'll be hard to explain if you ruin the packaging." "A friend's?" Fang Yuan was stunned. She stared at the crystal doll in her hand and said gloomily, "You didn't bring me a gift?" "We're family. I can buy one whenever I want." But Fang Yuan looked at the exquisite doll in her hand and then at the golden Yuan Bao in her arms. The more she looked at it, the more she liked it. Moreover, this doll looked very much like her. "Seriously, brother, I thought he bought it for me." Fang Yuan was unhappy. She stuffed the doll into the gift bag and pouted without saying anything. Out of sight, out of mind. In the kitchen, Fang Ping grinned. He entered the living room with a cup of tea in hand. Seeing that Fang Yuan had returned to her angry state, he chuckled. "Are you angry?" "No. Look at you. You're almost a martial artist. Why don't you have any self-control?" After teasing his sister for a while, Fang Ping was in a good mood. He chuckled. "All right, I was just joking. The gift is for you. Do you like it?" "Really?" Fang Yuan felt like she was on a roller coaster. She hurriedly took out the doll. Fang Ping chuckled. "Girl, I'm not done yet. Do you see that golden Yuan Bao? It's real gold. Gold!" Fang Yuan's eyes curved into crescents. She suddenly coughed softly and regained her composure. She said calmly, "I only like the doll's appearance. I don't like gold at all." Fang Ping sneered. Fang Yuan looked embarrassed. It's true. I'm rich now. I don't care about gold. You? How much money do you have? Tell me. I'm not telling you. Fang Yuan looked proud. I'm rich now. Now, she had really started a big business. Yuan Ping Club had even started Yuan Ping Company. Now, she had businesses all over Sun City. 5 stationery stores and 3 snack stores. She was about to open her 9th chain store. Fang Yuan had spent all her money. A few rich people from Yuan Ping Club had also invested a portion of the money to open Yuan Ping Corporation. Although they were not earning much at the moment, Fang Yuan believed that they would make a lot of money sooner or later. Initially, she wanted to start another business, but after some thought, she gave up. She was a little scared. Someone had leaked the news, but a few days ago, many people had approached her, wanting to start a company with her. These people had hundreds of millions in cash. They wanted to partner with her to open a martial arts dojo, do other things with her, and even develop real estate. Fang Yuan did not even have to fork out any money. As long as she was in the company, she could earn a huge sum of dividends every year. She could even get a lot of shares. After a while, Fang Yuan did not dare to say that she wanted to start a company. In the end, she was unwilling to give up and opened a few small shops. They were not big enough, but there were enough of them. She was already the boss of 8 shops. Fang Yuan was overjoyed. Fang Ping smiled and did not say anything else. Do you really think I don't know? He did not really care about this in Magic City, but his father was still at home. As the deputy director of Sun City's municipal government office, old Fang did not get promoted this time, but his treatment had increased. He could enjoy the benefits of a full-time employee. His daughter was in Sun City. How could she hide something from him? As soon as the shops opened, Fang Ping heard the news from his father. Even so, Fang Ping was too lazy to care. The few shops this girl had opened were not even enough for her to produce and sell on her own. The Yuan Ping Club students bought stationery and snacks from these few shops, and they even had to give discounts to their own people. What kind of money could they earn? Fang Ping did not expose her, and Fang Yuan did not want to flaunt her wealth. At least, she was not as rich as her brother. It would be a blow to her. She played with the doll in her hands. The more she looked at it, the more she liked it. She giggled. Fang Ping, you're really generous this time. I thought you would buy me a few new clothes at most. Fang Ping chuckled. If it were me, I wouldn't want to buy anything. If I want to buy something, I'll buy it myself. Someone else gave it to you. Someone else? Fang Yuan was stunned. Then she asked in surprise, a guy or a girl? A girl. You're in a relationship. Fang Yuan was shocked. She said in disbelief, You can find a girlfriend too? Fang Ping felt bad when he heard that. He said with a dark expression, What do you mean? Your brother, am the center of attraction. Which girl doesn't like me? Why does it sound like no one wants me when you say it? Did this girl know how to speak? Fang Yuan shook her head hurriedly. No, I mean, I think it'll be hard for you to find a girlfriend. Although she said that, Fang Yuan said sourly, Who's that girl? Brother, now that you've found a girlfriend, are you not going home anymore? You're not going to buy me a present. Also, is that girl ugly? Why are you in such a hurry to find a girlfriend? You don't even know her. Why don't you wait a few more years? Many of my friends are very beautiful. It'll be nice to have someone I know as my girlfriend. It'll be nice to have someone from Yuan Ping Club as my sister-in-law. In the future, I'll still be in charge of the Fang family. Fang Ping could not be bothered with her. He chuckled. Don't talk nonsense. What girlfriend? Friends. Female friends. Do you understand? Fang Ping did not say much. He quickly changed the topic. While I'm at home these few days, cultivate well. See if you can complete the twice honing. She had completed the twice honing. 3 honing was probably out of the question. This girl should be able to officially become a martial artist soon. However, Fong Ping looked at her tiny head and said, "Don't be in a hurry to break through even if you've completed the twice honing. Wait a little longer. If one broke through to martial artist too early, their bones would really be set in place." This girl was only so tall now. Although Fong Ping thought she was cute, if she really became a dwarf, she would look ugly. Girls at this age grew quickly. When they were almost there, it did not matter if their bones were set in place. As for her appearance, baby fat and small round face, these had nothing to do with her bones. He would let this girl grow however she wanted. The siblings chatted. Not long after, Li Wang came back from shopping, carrying a few bags of things. Fong Mingrong came back early that night. He asked a few simple questions about Fong Ping's life in school, but Fong Mingrong did not say much. Although he did not ask in detail, it did not mean that Fong Mingrong knew nothing. At least he knew one thing. A few days ago, his son had become the Secretary General of Magic City Martial Arts University's School Council. This was a semi-official matter. People from other places might not have noticed. However, in Sun City, there were still many people who were concerned about Fong Ping's situation. When the news of Fong Ping becoming the Secretary General of MCMEU's school council came out, the entire city government was talking about it. When Sun City's commander, Bai Jinshan, met Fong Mingrong, he half-jokingly said that he would have to call Fong Ping leader when he met him in the future. This was not a joke. According to the administrative level, MCMAU was on the same level as the House of Governors. The school council was MCMAU's core organization. Other than the vice-chancellor, the other members of the school council were similar in status to the other deputy governors in Nanjiang's House of Governors. According to rank, Fong Ping was a few ranks higher than Bai Jinshan. Fong Ping was not a good analogy, but the other person was Bai Jinshan's superior, Wang Jinyang, who was the real deputy governor. Wang Jinyang had lost to Fong Ping before, and NMAU was not much better than MCMAU. Based on this, Fong Ping's status was even higher. The small Sun City had produced two young prodigies. Recently, Bai Jinshan's hair had almost turned white from worry. This was both a good and a bad thing. The good thing was that Sun City was famous, and they had more confidence. The bad thing was that Sun City was famous, and its status was high. He, a peak rank 3 commander, seemed too weak. Originally, it was not bad for a county-level city's commander to reach peak rank 3. Now, however, he seemed too weak. Fong Ping could not care less about Bai Jinshan's matters, and he would not care. Whoever became Sun City's commander had little to do with him, as long as it was not that idiot Qin Fengqing. During dinner, Fong Yuan told his parents that the gift Fong Ping brought back was not bought by him, but by a girl. This made his parents ask about it for a while. Fong Ping did not hide it from them. Of course, he did not say much, just briefly mentioning Qin Yunxi. Fong Ping did not stand out too much when he returned to Sun City. He went home for peace and quiet, and he did not want to be disturbed. Even when Wu Zhihao mentioned the class reunion, Fong Ping politely declined. It was okay to meet up once before he left, but not now. During the few days at home, while his parents prepared for the new year, Fong Ping did not idle. He honed his meridians and cultivated combat techniques, while guiding Fong Yuan's cultivation. His meridian honing speed was not too slow. These days, Fong Ping had already honed 4 of his 14 main meridians, which was considered extremely fast. It had only been less than 20 days since he broke through on the 15th. The difficulty of honing main meridians was slightly higher than minor meridians. Reshaping meridians was also a work of effort. 1 main meridian in 5 days was considered fast. If this continued, he could completely reshape his main meridians in 2 months. 206 minor meridians, the speed should be even faster. Maybe 10 months would be enough. However, in the past year, Fong Ping was less motivated to cultivate. These days, his main focus was on combat techniques, including the cultivation of half-golden body. The difficulty of cultivating half-golden body was slightly lower. Fang Ping only needed to use large amounts of vitality to constantly cleanse his flesh and meridians. He did not need to care too much about other things. February 6th, 23rd of the 12th lunar month. Wang Jinyang, who did not come back for the New Year last year, returned to Sun City this year. Like Fang Ping, Wang Jinyang kept a low profile when he came back. Fang Ping knew that he was back, but the two of them did not meet up. New Year's Eve was approaching. It would not be too late to meet up and talk after the New Year. In the next few days, the New Year atmosphere in Sun City grew stronger. The Fang family was also immersed in celebration. With Fang Yuan at home, it could not be lonely. This girl was busy everywhere. When Fang Ping arrived home, he had to listen to her and was ordered around. For example, cleaning was Fang Ping's responsibility. There was no other reason. Fang Ping could fly. Fang Ping was the most suitable person for cleaning windows. Fang Yuan even suggested that Fang Ping should take advantage of the New Year to open a cleaning company to help people clean. Fang Ping almost squeezed her face into a steamed bun, asking a rank 5 powerhouse to clean? How could this girl say that? Busy. Fang Ping threw the catacombs matters and MCME matters to the back of his mind. Before he became a martial artist, he only thought about becoming a martial artist, about becoming a Superman. When he became a real martial artist and learned about the catacombs, the pressure followed. Although Fang Ping usually appeared relaxed, in reality, he had always been under a lot of pressure. He did not worry about the future of mankind. That was not his responsibility, at least not now. He did not have the right to do so. He did it for himself, for his family, for his friends. The catacombs' passageways kept opening and the threat grew. Before the two sides entered a full-scale war, if he did not have the strength, he could not even protect himself, not to mention others. The increasing pressure made him want to change something. That was why there were a series of changes in MCMAU. Otherwise, Fang Ping might not have done it. With a sense of relief after letting go of the pressure, Fang Ping's days at home were quite enjoyable. Chapter 412, 13th of February. New Year's Eve. Sun City was filled with the sound of firecrackers since morning. Scenic lake gardens. On New Year's Eve, the Fangs were especially lively. The one who caused the commotion was none other than Fang Yuan. On the night of the 12th, Fang Yuan broke through the barrier and completed her twice honing under the stimulation of Fang Ping's energy stones. This girl's control over her strength was very weak. Things were getting lively now that she had just completed her twice honing. Early in the morning, Li Yueying was busy in the kitchen. Fang Yuan insisted on helping, but everything she brought was destroyed. Li Yueying was so angry that she pushed her daughter away a few times and finally chased her daughter away. Fang Yuan destroyed everything in her way from the kitchen. A twice-honed aspiring martial artist was not very strong, but she was not much weaker than a beginner rank 1 martial artist. She still destroyed a lot of things in the house. Fang Ping held in his laughter for a while as he watched her walk carefully. Fang Yuan was not strong. If she had been like Fang Ping, the floor would have been trampled, not to mention New Year's Eve. Fang Yuan had become a destructive maniac. The Fangs did not care about things like this anymore. If they broke, they could just replace them. Fang Yuan could not stand it, though. She was on the verge of tears. The phone she had just bought with money had been crushed by her. The teddy bear she usually hugged to sleep had been torn to shreds by her the night before. In the morning, she realized that it had been shattered into many pieces. Now, she did not even dare to return to her room. She could only sit in the living room obediently, motionless. Even when Fang Ping walked up to her maliciously and pinched her cheeks hard, she did not move. She could not control her strength. She had fought back and punched Fang Ping, but she had used too much force. Fang Ping was fine, but her hand was almost swollen. Now that Fang Ping had come to bully her again, Fang Yuan felt wronged. She shouted, "Dad, Fang Ping is bullying me again." Fong Mingrong, who was pasting couplets, only smiled and did not reply. A house like this was lively enough. Fong Ping was overjoyed. He pinched her cheeks and smiled. What do you know, little girl? I'm helping you get used to your strength. Who are you trying to fool? Who would need to pinch their cheeks to get used to their strength? It's true. Your strength is concentrated on your face. I'm helping you to disperse it so you can get used to it faster. I don't believe you. It's fine if you don't believe me. Besides, you've just broken through, so your face has accumulated too much energy. If I don't dispel this energy, you'll have a big fat face for the rest of your life. Although I think it looks good, do you like it? Fong Yuan was dubious when he said that, but he did feel blood rushing to his cheeks. However, this feeling was quite familiar. It was almost the same feeling when Fong Ping pinched his face in the past. Fong Yuan was skeptical, but Fong Ping said with a straight face, "Trust me. I'm serious. Of course, if you don't mind having a round face, you don't need my help." She would rather believe it than not, so she accepted her fate and allowed Fong Ping to pinch her cheeks as he pleased. After teasing his sister for a while, Fong Ping did not continue to bully her. He chuckled and went about his own business. On New Year's Eve, there were a lot of phone calls this year. If others wished him a Happy New Year, he had to wish them a Happy New Year too. However, Old Man Li, Lu Fengru, and the others were all in closed-door cultivation now, so there was no need to disturb them. Both of them were working hard to become true grandmasters. Before Fong Ping left the university, they had gone into closed-door cultivation and had not shown their faces since. While Fong Ping's family was enjoying themselves, a small car was parked by the roadside outside scenic lake gardens. There were 3 people in the car. The middle-aged man sat in the back. He glanced at a tall building in the district and said in a low voice, "We'll act as soon as it gets dark." In the front row, Guardian Plum, the old man from before, said softly, "Do we attack him directly or lure him out?" The middle-aged man said in a low voice, "Attack him directly. Of course, we don't have to kill his family. If we don't have to kill them, we don't." After saying that, the middle-aged man added, "To prevent him from escaping, Guardian Plum will attack first. Let him feel that there's a chance of survival." Fong Ping is an extremely confident person. Guardian Plum is an early-stage rank 6. Plus, his family is here. He might not be afraid and run away immediately. As long as we fight him, Fong Ping will be entangled. He won't be able to escape. The middle-aged man made some arrangements. If a rank 5 encountered a rank 6 and fled before the fight started, he might not be able to kill Fong Ping. However, if Fong Ping were to engage in combat with someone, he would definitely be entangled. He would not even be able to escape. As for holding Fong Ping's family hostage to threaten him, very few martial artists would do such a thing. It was meaningless. Television was just television. Capturing his family and forcing Fong Ping to cripple his own martial arts was an idiotic move. As long as one wasn't stupid, no one would do such a thing. He knew that the other party wanted to kill him, but he still crippled his own martial arts. Not only would he not be able to save others, he would also die. Such an idiot would die in vain. Guardian Plum was just an early-stage rank 6. Fong Ping might not run away without a fight. Of course, they could not rule out the possibility that Fong Ping was cold-blooded enough to abandon his family and flee after sensing Guardian Plum's aura. In response to this situation, the middle-aged man also made arrangements. Another protector was waiting outside to prevent Fong Ping from escaping. On the other hand, he would follow Guardian Plum. As long as Fong Ping didn't choose to escape, he would find an opportunity to kill him. After that, the middle-aged man looked out of the window again. The sky had already darkened. A cold glint flashed in the middle-aged man's eyes. It seemed like Fong Ping would not have the chance to eat this reunion dinner. In scenic lake gardens, Fong Ping was still on the phone. The phone call was from Chun Yunqi. Fong Ping did not say much. He could hear a cold, snort coming from the other side of the phone. A certain old man was listening in on his granddaughter's phone call again. Fang Ping was helpless against Qin Yaoting, the old man who liked to eavesdrop. I didn't say anything. It's your granddaughter talking. What's the point of you snorting and snorting? Chen Yinqi said a lot, especially asking if Fang Ping's parents and sister liked the gift she bought. At that moment, the sound of breathing over the phone became heavy. Old man Qin looked like he was about to explode. His granddaughter was rushing to throw herself at him. That bastard Fang Ping, he did not see any gifts. Fang Ping did not provoke the old man anymore. He was afraid that the old man would come after him during the New Year. After chatting with Chen Yunqi for a while, Fang Ping hung up. After he hung up, Fang Yuan, who was beside him, tried to sneak away. She used too much force and almost knocked over the potted plants on the balcony. Fang Ping was speechless. He grabbed her by the neck and lifted her up. Watching the girl struggle, a satisfied smile appeared on his face. Very good, I found my chance. He had wanted to experience this feeling for a long time. Every time he would be lifted up. Now, grabbing someone else by the neck and lifting them up felt really good. Fang Yuan looked embarrassed. Fang Ping was becoming more and more of a bully. It's very embarrassing, okay? After the siblings fooled around for a while, the sky started to darken. In the kitchen, Li Yueying had prepared the New Year's Eve dinner and started to serve the dishes. Time to eat. Following his mother's call, Fang Ping put Fang Yuan down and prepared to eat. At that moment, the sky was already dark. Fang Ping had just taken a few steps when he suddenly frowned slightly. He tilted his head and looked out the window. Fang Yuan rubbed her neck and asked curiously, "What's wrong?" "Nothing," Fang Ping gave a perfunctory reply, his brows still furrowed. That feeling earlier, vitality fluctuation? Now his mentality had reached more than 800 hertz. His senses were very sharp. Catacombs powerhouses and human powerhouses could detect each other from thousands of miles away. This was all because of the strength of their mentality. Mentality's sensing and attack range were different. A rank 7 powerhouses' mentality attack range might only be 100 meters, but their sensing ability was more than that. It was possible to expand it by 10 times. However, outside the district, more than a few hundred meters away from the building, Fang Ping only had a weak sense. It was not very obvious. Are there martial artists passing by? Fang Ping muttered to himself. The vitality fluctuation earlier was very weak. He even suspected that he had sensed it wrongly. After thinking for a while, Fang Ping's ears twitched again. After honing his ossicles, his hearing was also very good. When Fang Ping's ears started to vibrate, countless voices nearby poured into his ears, making him dizzy. "Hubby, Happy New Year's Eve." "Daddy, I want to eat. I'm so hungry." Voices came from all around him. Fang Ping even heard some voices that he should not have heard. He cursed silently. It was not even night yet. Today was New Year's Eve. Was this how the two of them celebrated New Year's Eve? Cursing aside, Fang Ping quickly ignored these voices and listened in the direction from earlier. After a while, Fang Ping's expression changed slightly. He did not hear anything. The only thing worth noticing was a few weak breaths. That was not the point. The point was that the breaths were very long. After a long time, there would be a breath. Only martial artists would do this. Fang Ping took a deep breath, his heart beating slightly. Was it a martial artist passing by? Not necessarily. Seeing that Fang Yuan was still looking at him, Fang Ping waved his hand and said, "Go eat first." "Brother, go." After forcefully sending Fang Yuan away, Fang Ping thought for a while and dialed a number. As soon as the call connected, he said quickly, "There's a martial artist outside my district." "What rank?" "I don't know." "I'll be there in a minute." Fang Ping thought for a while and said, "Come and take my family away. I can fight or retreat, please." Fang Ping, "Brother Wang, please." "All right. I'll inform Commander by who's stationed at Auspicious Peace." Auspicious Peace is only about 100 li from here. If Commander Bai goes all out, he'll be here in 10 minutes at most. That being said, the other party was a Grandmaster powerhouse stationed at Auspicious Peace. It was hard to say if he would come. After all, Commander Bai had to be responsible for the Nanjiang catacombs. Even if he really agreed to come, he still had to make arrangements. 10 minutes. That was the best he could hope for. It still depended on Commander Bai's speed. Fang Ping did not say much and hung up quickly. After thinking for a while, he sent a few more text messages. Although there might not be any danger at the moment, and it could be a martial artist passing by. It was the new year. What was a martial artist doing outside his district instead of spending the new year at home? Fang Ping had never been stingy with assuming the worst of others. It was better to be safe than sorry. Fang Ping valued his own life and the safety of his family very much. Back then, Huang Bin upstairs might have done him harm. Fang Ping was not even a martial artist. His first thought was to strike first and gain the upper hand. Now, even if it was a martial artist passing by, Fang Ping would not let his guard down. Moreover, he had offended a lot of people. The first thing that came to Fang Ping's mind was not the evil sect, but the two major companies. Some of the recent changes in MC Mayu had infringed on the interests of the two major companies. It was not incomprehensible for people to do the impossible for the sake of profit. Fang Ping inhaled slightly. Seeing that his parents and sister were waiting for him in the dining room, he walked over and said softly, "Dad, Mom, leave the house first. Take the stairs downstairs. Don't leave the floor. Find a random staircase and wait for a while." "Brother, Ping Ping," Fang Ping smiled and said, "It's okay. I might be overthinking, but you guys go first. If there's nothing else, we'll come back for dinner." Fang Mingrong glanced at his son. Seeing that he was holding a Changdao, he nodded and said, "Okay, be careful." "Brother." Fang Yuan gritted her teeth and said in a low voice, "It won't be dangerous, right?" "Of course." "All right, that's enough. Let's go down first." Fang Mingrong hesitated no more. He dragged Li Yueying, who still wanted to ask more questions, and left. Fang Yuan looked reluctant, but she said nothing more and quickly followed her parents. Once his family had left, Fang Ping did not act rashly. Instead, he chose to wait. At this moment, Fang Ping was standing on the balcony, deliberately revealing himself. His mentality and hearing were fully activated. He observed carefully, looking back at the house from time to time as if he was talking to someone. After a while, Fang Ping's phone rang. "We're here. Don't come through the front door." "I know. My parents are in the corridor. Don't come over yet. Wait. If they don't make a move, then don't. Once they do, bring them away immediately." "Fang Ping." Wang Jinyang exhaled and said in a low voice, "Okay, I know. Delay is the main thing." As he said that, Wang Jinyang said, "Commander Bai agreed to come, but today is New Year's Eve. There aren't enough powerhouses stationed on the ground. Commander Bai needs to delay for a while to make arrangements." Fang Ping was not surprised. No matter how important Fang Ping's safety was, it was not as important as the Nanjiang catacombs. Commander Bai was currently the strongest powerhouse in Nanjiang. He was also a member of the military department. He would not leave his post without permission. It was already very difficult for him to agree to come back. "I know. I hope I can make it." "It's okay." After saying that, Wang Jinyang hung up the phone without saying anything else. He did not investigate. It would be troublesome if someone found out. If they really had ill intentions towards Fang Ping, the person would not be weak. If they had no ill intentions, it would be fine even if they made a mistake. Both he and Fang Ping were prodigies. Even if there was a misunderstanding, the Grandmaster would not be offended by a few polite words of thanks. It was at this moment that Fang Ping suddenly stopped talking. The few breathing sounds that he had been paying attention to were heard. He's still by the window. Outside the district, the middle-aged man frowned slightly. He stared at the floor Fang Ping was on. Seeing that Fong Ping seemed to be on the phone, he muttered, "It's already dark. Should we make a move now?" The old man said, "Let's wait a little longer. If we go now, we'll be easily discovered." The middle-aged man frowned. After a moment, he said, "We're not waiting anymore. Time is of the essence. Guardian Plum, you make the first move. I'll go to the other side and attack at the same time." The old man nodded. Without delay, he got out of the car. The other person got out too, but he did not move. Instead, he stayed where he was. The middle-aged man got out of the car at the same time, but he did not walk. Instead, he used flight step and disappeared into the horizon. Inside the house, Fong Ping cursed silently. As expected, they were here for him. Moreover, the other party was going to make a move now. It was faster than he had expected. It seemed like he could not delay until Commander Bai arrived. Taking a deep breath, Fong Ping held onto his Changdao. He could not leave now. If he did, the other party might destroy the entire building in a fit of rage. However, if they fought, he could escape. The other party would not waste too much time here. At this moment, Fong Ping concealed all his aura. He set up layers of mentality barriers in front of him. He also condensed streams of celestiality in his hands and quickly channeled them into the chaos-vanquishing saber. There was more than one person. He would kill one first. Large amounts of celestiality were channeled into the saber. Fong Ping's palms became a bloody mess. His golden bones exuded a faint golden glow. At this moment, he was ready for his strongest attack. He could not tell how strong the other party was, but he was sure that they were not high-ranked. Fong Ping was sure of this. Chapter 413. Beside the balcony, Fong Ping held the hilt of his saber, adjusting his breathing slightly, when his mentality sensed two auras approaching each other. In the next moment, Fong Ping did not wait any longer. In a battle in a residential building, once the floor collapsed, there would not be many survivors in the building. Kill! Fong Ping did not bellow out this roar, but roared in his heart. His body was like a lifeless rock, smashing through the glass of the balcony directly, charging out instantly. A dazzling ray of light cut through the void, illuminating the dark night. When the old man who had just broken through the void felt the approaching saber gleam, his face turned pale instantly. "Save!" Before he could shout for help, the saber gleam slashed through the air with a rumble, descending on him. Bang! In the next moment, a huge explosion was heard in midair. The old man did not even have time to defend, ambushed by Fong Ping's full-force saber, exploding directly. The moment the explosion was heard, Fong Ping also felt a strong sense of danger. With a roar, his body shone with golden light. Boom! The moment Fong Ping dashed out of the room, the middle-aged man who was about to ambush him from the side attacked instantly, punching Fong Ping. The mentality barrier was shattered instantly. In the next moment, the fist force penetrated. The flesh on Fong Ping's chest exploded in the blink of an eye. There were differences between rank 6. Fong Ping had never fought with a real peak rank 6 powerhouse, even when he was being hunted. He, Wang Jinyang, and a few others had joined forces to kill a rank 6, but peak rank 6 was a different concept. When the Sanjiao Gate was closed, only a peak rank 6 would be achieved. Only such a powerhouse would give their all in every move and technique, unlike the other rank SXS, whose Sanjiao Gate was not sealed. Unless they were at their wits' end, very few people would unleash their full strength to open the Sanjiao Gate. Bang! The flesh on the surface of Fong Ping's body exploded, but he did not delay, using the force to fly backward. The golden bones shone brightly. Although the flesh exploded, the bones were unscathed. Fong Ping did not look at the martial artist who was slashed by him. The other party was not very strong. Even if he did not die, he would probably be heavily injured and unable to fight again. The truth was as expected. Fong Ping's full-force saber ambush, the old man almost did not have time to react. At this moment, the saber gleam vanished, leaving only a corpse that was split into two in midair, broken beyond repair, falling instantly. The old man's gaze was still dazed. Obviously, he did not expect that he would be killed in one strike. The middle-aged man's expression was extremely ugly. Although he was unhappy with Guardian Plum and even wanted to kill him, Guardian Plum was still a sixth-grade cultivator and a capable subordinate of his. He did not expect to be killed by Fong Ping's saber as soon as they made contact. The middle-aged man was also slightly frightened. Fong Ping was actually this strong, much stronger than he had expected, killing a rank 6 with one slash. But at this moment he couldn't care less. He did not expect Fong Ping to be prepared for this. At this moment, the middle-aged man had no time to think. Since Fong Ping did not run, but chose to attack instead, the moment he attacked, he was hit by his fist again. There was no way he could run. The moment Fong Ping flew backward, the middle-aged man gave chase. Fong Ping, on the other hand, continued to fly backward out of the district. He had not flown far when a rank 6 aura rose from the periphery. Another person had rushed over. "Fong Ping, you can't escape." The middle-aged man growled and punched through the air. The air instantly exploded and the void was dyed a blood-red color. "F*CKU, I'll kill you." Fong Ping roared. His body shone with golden light. Various forces appeared on his Changdao, including Vitality Force and Celestiality Force. At this moment, he was being attacked from the front and back. The person behind him had already blocked his way. To the side were other residential buildings. If he ran there, once they fought, it would easily cause a lot of casualties. "Bastard!" Fong Ping roared. These people did not care about the lives of others at all. They were definitely not from the two major companies or the evil sect. No matter how much the two major companies hated Fong Ping, they would not dare to do something like this. If they were found out, all martial artists would attack him together. Only evil sect martial artists would be so unscrupulous. Fong Ping roared. The Changdao sliced through the void again. The saber was like a lightning shadow, cutting through the night and colliding with the opponent's fist. Boom! A loud noise was heard again, covering all the fireworks and firecrackers around the district. Fong Ping swung his saber, but he was sent flying backward again. Behind him, the middle stage rank 6 martial artist also did not make a sound. He held his saber and slashed at Fong Ping. "Get lost!" Fong Ping was furious. He turned around and slashed with his saber. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, Fong Ping's combat strength was fully unleashed. The night sky was illuminated by his golden bones. The chaos-vanquishing saber slashed at lightning speed. The flesh on Fong Ping's hand exploded again, leaving only the shining bones. Protector Zheng, who had collided with him, changed his expression again and again. Above his head, 3 invisible doors appeared. One of the doors had already been completely sealed. As soon as the door appeared, Protector Zheng's strength increased greatly. In the blink of an eye, he and Fong Ping collided head-on and slashed dozens of times. Fire, blood, and golden light flickered continuously between the two of them. Fong Ping slashed dozens of times in a frenzy. He did not even look back. In the next moment, he stepped into the air and soared into the sky, ready to fly away. Boom! Above his head, a middle-aged figure appeared. He pressed down with a fist and growled, "If you dare to run, I'll slaughter Sun City." "What does it have to do with me? Kill me if you dare." Fong Ping growled as well. His figure kept retreating. If he met one person, he could still escape. Now, however, 2 people were surrounding him. It was difficult for him to break out. In midair, the sound of explosions was endless. The sound of metal clashing also shook the void. 2 rank 6 powerhouses unleashed their full force, instantly creating an immense sense of oppression. The entire scenic lake gardens was in chaos. At first, when the few of them fought, the crowd thought it was fireworks and did not think much of it. However, as the 2 sides continued to exchange blows in midair, The oppressive feeling made everyone panic. This was not even a battle between rank 7 powerhouses. Otherwise, a battle of mentality would have killed a large number of people in the community. On the floor where Fong Ping's house was located. At this moment, the outer wall of Fong Ping's house had been affected by the aftermath and was already cracking. In the chaos, Wang Jinyang's figure flashed and disappeared. Soon, he sensed the location of the Fong family. Wang Jinyang's speed was extremely fast. In the next moment, his figure appeared in front of the Fong family at the stairway entrance. As soon as he appeared, Fong Yuan kicked him. Wang Jinyang grabbed her ankle with one hand and growled, "It's me, Wang Jinyang. Fong Ping asked me to take you away." Hearing the voice, Fong Yuan said hurriedly, "Save my brother." At this time, they could see the situation outside from the window at the stairway entrance. At this moment, 3 glowing silhouettes were flickering in midair. The golden light in the middle was flickering left and right, but it could not break out of the encirclement. Blinding blood-red rays kept bursting out of the golden light. Wang Jinyang's expression was solemn. Fong Ping might not be killed if he fought with the middle stage rank 6 martial artist, but the peak rank 6 powerhouse's strength completely crushed Fong Ping's. If this dragged on, Fong Ping would not be able to break out of the encirclement and might be killed. Taking a deep breath, Wang Jinyang did not waste any time. He grabbed one person with each hand and turned to Fong Yuan, shouting, "Grab me. I'll send you away first, then I'll come back." Fong Yuan tilted her head and looked out the window. Tears streamed down her face. Without saying anything, she grabbed Wang Jinyang hurriedly. Fong Mingrong did not say a word. Li Yueying was choking, but she did not say anything. Wang Jinyang did not waste any time either. He grabbed Fong Ping's parents and rushed downstairs. Very soon, Wang Jinyang led them out of the residential area. He shouted, go far away." After saying that, Wang Jinyang leaped into the air. His body was still in midair, but he had already drawn his longbow. Bone marrow force surged out of his body instantly. On the longbow, a thick blood-red arrow condensed in the blink of an eye. The next moment, the blood-red arrow shot through the air, shooting toward the middle stage rank 6 powerhouse. In midair, Fong Ping's entire body was torn to shreds. Seeing this, he did not bother to exchange pleasantries with Wang Jinyang. He roared, "Hold the big one back. Can you do it? 30 seconds. All right." Fong Ping roared. Celestiality exploded instantly, blasting the peak rank 6 powerhouse a distance away. Wang Jinyang's speed was also extremely fast. He blocked the other party in an instant. The middle-aged man's eyes were cold. He shouted coldly, "Wang Jinyang, you're asking for it." Wang Jinyang did not reply. The next moment, he put away his bow and switched to his saber. Bone marrow force surged out of his body again, and the blood-red saber slashed down instantly. Boom! The middle-aged man was furious. With a low growl, he punched. Dong! A loud noise was heard. The Changdao vibrated. The flesh on Wang Jinyang's arm was torn to shreds in the blink of an eye. The thick blood-red force on his body dimmed significantly. On the other side, after tossing the peak rank 6 powerhouse to Wang Jinyang, Fong Ping did not even look at him. 30 seconds. This was what Wang Jinyang had promised. If the time was not up, he did not need to care. Protector Zheng's expression was cold. "You want to kill me? I'll definitely kill you." Fong Ping's rage was boiling. These people actually ambushed him. If he did not detect it in advance, his family might be in trouble. Before he finished speaking, the celestiality on Fong Ping's Changdao had already condensed to its limit. As for himself, the flesh on his body was also exploding continuously. At this moment, Fong Ping did not care about any injuries. These people, no matter how big the price, he would kill them. Slash. The moment the celestiality condensed, Fong Ping slashed with his saber. Protector Zheng's expression was gloomy, but he was not afraid of Fong Ping. The power of Fong Ping's slash was extremely great. However, at this moment he was prepared. His only goal was to hold Fong Ping back. Fong Ping wanted to kill him. In his dreams. In the next moment, Protector Zheng's silhouette disappeared. The moment his silhouette disappeared, Fong Ping was not surprised at all. A ruthless glint flashed in his eyes. Boom! The sound of an invisible explosion shook the void and caused it to tremble. Streaks of invisible waves stirred up heaven and earth. Some of the surrounding trees were hit by the invisible waves, instantly turning into dust. Ah! A scream was heard. In mid-air, Protector Zheng, who had just disappeared, trembled and appeared on the spot. As for Fong Ping, large amounts of blood were seeping out of his orifices. Mentality, self-detonation. At this moment, Fong Ping self-detonated a large amount of mentality, more than any other time before. At this moment, Fong Ping was also a little dazed, but he did not delay. The moment Protector Zheng's silhouette appeared, Fong Ping's saber followed. This time, the golden light of Fong Ping's entire body was shining brilliantly. Go to hell! Fong Ping roared, slashing down with his saber. Protector Zheng, whose head was almost blown up by the mentality self-detonation, was also bleeding out of his orifices. However, facing the crisis of death, he quickly overcame the sharp pain in his head and raised his saber to meet the attack. Boom! A loud noise was heard, and Protector Zheng fell down. Seeing this, Fong Ping gritted his teeth. His mentality recovered instantly. He let out another low roar and exploded instantly. This time, both of their bodies trembled violently, falling from mid-air. Fong Ping brandished his saber and slashed wildly. In the end, all the flesh and blood on his body exploded. His internal organs could be seen clearly now. Die! Fong Ping roared. A large amount of blood spurted out of his mouth, heading straight for the other party's head. Protector Zheng's face was bleeding profusely at this moment. Seeing this, he revealed a ruthless look. In the void, one of the Sanjiao gates that was initially half-sealed opened instantly. In the next moment, a large amount of energy gushed out. The initially dispirited Protector Zheng's injuries were mostly healed in the blink of an eye. His gaze was no longer dazed, much more sober. After his injuries were mostly healed, Protector Zheng had the energy to spare. With a slash of his saber, he shattered the blood arrow that Fong Ping spurted out. Although his injuries were mostly healed, Protector Zheng's gaze was still venomous. Sealing the Sanjiao gates was a difficult process. His first gate was completely sealed, and a large part of his second gate was also sealed. In another 2 years, there was hope for him to seal it completely and step into upper stage rank 6. However, at this moment, facing a rank 5 martial artist attack, he had no choice but to destroy his own gate, opening the second gate completely. At this moment, in terms of realm, he had already gone from a middle stage rank 6 veteran to a beginner. And this step had taken him 6 years. Fong Ping had ruined his 6 years of hard work. He hated him, but Fong Ping hated him even more. 30 seconds were almost up. If he did not kill this guy soon, Wang Jinyang might not be able to hold on much longer. Early stage rank 5 Wang Jinyang was fighting a peak rank 6 powerhouse. Every second was depleting his life force. The moment Protector Zheng shattered the Sanjiao gate, Fong Ping said furiously, "You forced me to do this." Before his voice died away, Fong Ping's face exploded abruptly. In the next moment, his entire head exuded an extremely intense light. As the golden light on his head dispersed, the other bones in Fong Ping's body also erupted with a brilliant glow. At this moment, Fong Ping directly honed the remaining 3 skulls. However, this did not come without a price. Fong Ping had not honed all this, well, because he felt that his physique could not support the complete activation of golden bones. And the truth was as expected. The moment the skulls erupted with intense light, Fong Ping's torn flesh continued to rupture. His internal organs, crystal clear organs, were also rupturing. At the same time, Fang Ping's body also erupted with an extremely powerful aura. The expression of the middle-aged man who was attacking Wang Jinyang not far away changed. Golden bones! A look of disbelief appeared in the middle-aged man's eyes. Before this, Fang Ping also revealed a golden glow, but that time it was only golden. It did not have the oppressive power of a golden body powerhouse. The golden bones of a golden body powerhouse were different from those of Fang Ping, Li Hansong, and the others. But now, Fang Ping's body emitted that kind of aura, that kind of pressure. The pressure of a rank 8. Fang Ping did not have time to listen to his nonsense. Right now, Fang Ping was screaming in pain. There was no bone honing more painful than this. His flesh was rupturing continuously. No matter how much vitality force there was, it could not heal his flesh. His internal organs were also rupturing. This made Fang Ping feel like he was about to explode. However, since the system could let him hone his bones, Fang Ping firmly believed that he would not die. The moment the golden bones were completely activated, Protector Zheng, who was opposite him, was suppressed by the pressure of the golden bones and fell continuously. Protector Zheng, who had recovered a lot from his injuries, showed fear for the first time. He had no intention of fighting Fang Ping. In the next moment, Protector Zheng turned around and fled into the distance. "I will kill you!" Fang Ping's voice almost could not shout anymore. It was extremely hoarse and suppressed. As his voice fell, the chaos-vanquishing sabers, celestiality, and golden bones combined. In the next moment, an even more powerful aura erupted. Fang Ping roared and slashed. Boom, boom, boom. The saber light fell. The air exploded, and sparks flew in all directions. On the ground, a saber mark hundreds of meters long appeared instantly. The trees and buildings along the way were all shattered. At this moment, Fang Ping did not care if he would accidentally hurt the residents. This slash was aimed in the direction outside the residential area. There was a road outside. Usually there were many cars. Today was New Year's Eve, and there was almost no one. Although the residents in the residential area were terrified to the extreme, the exchange between both parties was extremely fast. At this moment, other than a few people on the first floor, most people did not even have time to leave their houses. When this slash was made, wherever the saber light was, everything was shattered. The aftermath shattered the ground and cut off the road outside. The shops on the opposite side also collapsed. The lights in the shops were dark. Fang Ping did not know if there was anyone inside. In reality, Fang Ping could not care so much right now. If he did not kill the other party, under the joint attack of both of them, he and Wang Jinyang would not be able to escape. No. Protector Zheng, who had already escaped a distance away, felt the saber force coming from behind him. He felt the flesh and blood on his back being torn apart by the saber light from a long distance away. He immediately roared in fear. At this moment, Protector Zheng also fought with his life. Boom! With a loud explosion, the completely sealed first Sanjiao gate shattered instantly. This time, even if he did not die, he would fall to early stage rank 6. The moment the Sanjiao gate opened between heaven and earth, endless energy surged into Protector Zheng's body. While Protector Zheng was escaping, he covered the surface of his body with layers and layers of vitality force. However, no matter how much vitality defense was covered, it was not as fast as the saber light's destruction. Almost in the blink of an eye, the saber light completely covered Protector Zheng. Boom! The sound of explosions came one after another. As for Fang Ping, he was no longer a golden man, but a bloody man. His entire body was covered in torn flesh. On both of his arms, all the flesh and blood were almost shattered. Waves of blood-colored vitality force appeared out of thin air, repairing at lightning speed, but it could not make the flesh and blood reappear. Fang Ping gritted his teeth, not caring about these. He stepped out of the midair, arriving at the place where the saber light landed in an instant. At this moment, Protector Zheng had not been killed in one slash. Although his entire body seemed to have been cut in half, the other party was still alive. Seeing Fang Ping flying over, the resentment in Protector Zheng's eyes intensified to the extreme. Fang Ping did not care what he thought. These people came to kill him first, and they still had the face to resent him. Just as Protector Zheng swung his saber to fight back with difficulty, Fang Ping's saber light rose again, slashing down. Uft! His head fell. Fang Ping did not even look. He quickly stepped into the midair and returned. Before he could return to his original spot, a silhouette broke through the air, blood splattering the void. Fang Ping's expression changed drastically, grabbing Wang Jinyang hurriedly. At this moment, Wang Jinyang's face was extremely pale. There was a large hole in his chest, his internal organs could be seen clearly, and many of them were already shattered. Fortunately, I didn't fail. Wang Jinyang forced a smile. From the time he rose to the time Fang Ping killed Protector Zheng, it was exactly 30 seconds. I didn't expect you guys to really exceed my expectations. As Wang Jinyang spoke, the middle-aged man also stepped into the midair. There were some light injuries on his body, but they were not serious. The middle-aged man really did not expect this, or rather, he did not dare to think about it at all. A peak rank 6, a middle stage rank 6, and an early stage rank 6. With this kind of strength, even if they encountered a powerhouse who achieved mentality-vitality fusion, they could still fight. Today, they were only besieging Fang Ping, a rank 5. Of course, later on, Wang Jinyang also participated in the battle, but there were only 2 rank 5s. However, even so, the first to die was not Fang Ping and Wang Jinyang, but his 2 rank 6 subordinates, especially Protector Zheng, who was not even his subordinate. The other party was a veteran among middle stage rank 6. Prodigy martial artists. What a pity. The middle-aged man's eyes were extremely cold. This time, even if he killed these 2 people, he would be punished when he returned. He actually lost the lives of 2 rank 6 powerhouses. It was simply a great shame and humiliation. As soon as he finished speaking, the other party did not waste any time. A red, blood-red fist shadow landed on where Fang Ping and Wang Jinyang were in an instant. Fang Ping dragged Wang Jinyang, who was already seriously injured to the point of death, and quickly fled to the suburbs. If they continued fighting in the district would be finished. As soon as they left, the fist shadow landed, blasting a huge pit in the ground. Fang Ping and Wang Jinyang fled. The middle-aged man did not stop either, leaping into the air and giving chase quickly. Chapter 414. Scenic Lakeview Gardens was not located at the border of Sun City. At first, the battle in the district was covered up by the sound of firecrackers on New Year's Eve. However, when the battle reached its climax, several balls of light collided in the air, and the thunderous sound continued. Soon, most of Sun City knew about it. The police phones in Sun City were ringing non-stop. Commander Bai Jinshan was currently not far from Scenic Lakeview Gardens. Bai Jinshan was helpless and worried, but there was nothing he could do. Sun City was only a county-level city. He was the strongest there. Sun City did not even have a military garrison. Did they expect him and a few rank 2 martial artists from the Department of Investigation Services to participate in a battle between powerhouses? They could not even fly up in the air. Not only Sun City. Bai Jinshan reported to Auspicious Sun City that although Auspicious Sun City's commander had rushed over with his men, he was also extremely helpless over the phone. His biggest request was to evacuate the people, ensure their safety, and not let Sun City descend into chaos. At this moment, the entire Nanjiang had received the news that powerhouses were fighting in Sun City. 2 prodigies, Fang Ping and Wang Jinyang, were suspected to be involved in the battle. However, the situation did not seem too good. Bai Jinshan saw the 2 of them in a flash. Both of them were seriously injured. The military base closest to here was Auspicious Peace's military base. At this moment, The base had already located these people through satellites. However, at Fangping and the other stage, they moved extremely fast. It was difficult to quickly capture the other party. Even if they could capture them, the base could not use technological means to attack them. These people were currently still in the residential area, not to mention that Fangping and Wang Jinyang were among them. At rank 5 and 6, the best way was to use powerhouses to kill the other party. Technological means would only result in a situation where both sides would lose. Outside the residential area, as Fangping and Wang Jinyang fled to the suburbs using flight step, Bai Jinshan quickly led his men to calm them down. Looking at the few lights flying away, Bai Jinshan's face was full of worry. He hoped that Fangping and the others would be fine, and that Fangping could lead the enemy away from the residential area. At this moment, not only scenic Lakeview Gardens, but the entire Sun City was in a state of panic. This was not the first time powerhouses fought in front of the public. Just a few months ago, there were even people from the evil sect who threatened to massacre the city. Today, there were powerhouses fighting in the public area. The sense of crisis made everyone worried. At this moment, the fate of the weak was no longer in their control, and this was vividly reflected. In the scenic Lake Gardens district, some residents walked out of their houses. When they saw the saber mark that ran through more than half of the district, many people couldn't even imagine that it was caused by a human. But at that time, there were still many bold residents who secretly saw this scene from their windows. At this moment, with the arrival of the people from the government, the residents felt much more at ease. In the eyes of most people, the government was the guarantee of safety. He's too strong. I saw it. Fangping was the one who made that slash. What's going on? Are they Fangping's enemies? It must be someone from an evil cult. I wonder what rank it is. Isn't Fangping only rank 4? How could he be so strong? It's not just Fangping. I think the other person is Wang Jinyang. On the square in the district that had been destroyed to the point that it looked like a wasteland, many residents had lingering fears and were discussing in low voices. It was inevitable that there would be some noise. There were also people who said that Fangping had provoked enemies and almost killed everyone. However, when they thought of the several hundred-meter-long saber mark that Fangping had made, they dared not say anything even though they were dissatisfied. A powerhouse like this would be too terrifying when he exploded. While others were discussing, Bai Jinshan was not in the mood to pay attention to this. At this moment, in front of Bai Jinshan was Fang Mingrong and the others who had rushed back. Seeing Fang Mingrong, Bai Jinshan was about to ask a few questions when Fang Mingrong said hurriedly, "Commander, lend me a car." "Director Fang'er, my son is there." Fang Mingrong glanced at the mother and daughter who were crying beside him. He suppressed the throbbing in his heart and said hurriedly, "I'll go and take a look." "Director Fang, it's too dangerous." Bai Jinshan frowned. Fangping's father was just a normal person. If he followed them with a car, he would definitely die if he was caught in the crossfire. Now that Fangping's status was unknown. If something happened to his father, it would be troublesome. "Commander Bai, lend me a car." Seeing that Fang Mingrong did not respond to him, Bai Jinshan took a deep breath and nodded. "Okay, I'll send you there, but I might not be able to catch up. Those people's speed was extremely fast. He might not be able to catch up with them even if he drove." "No need. I'll drive there myself. You won't be able to sense where they are. I'll go with you." Bai Jinshan did not say much. If Fang Mingrong followed them, he might not even be able to find them. If he encountered the threat of the aftershock, he would not be able to stop them. After all, he was a peak rank 3 martial artist. Sun City was also his territory. It was reasonable for him to follow them and take a look. Even if he could not stop them, he should at least know their whereabouts. Without saying much, Bai Jinshan quickly ordered someone to drive a car over. Just as he was about to get into the car, a few Department of Investigation Services martial artists quickly rushed over with 2 broken corpses. "Commander!" The Department of Investigation Services chief glanced at Fang Mingrong and the others beside him. There was some uncontrollable horror in his eyes. He said hurriedly, "The corpses of the 2 people who were killed by Mr. Fong have been found. They should be rank 6 powerhouses." Powerhouses, even if they were dead, still had their characteristics. The degree of bone honing, the degree of honing of internal organs. These were all extremely easy to see. Even peak rank 5 and rank 6 were actually different. These people in Sun City might not have seen the corpses of rank 5 and rank 6 powerhouses before. However, as the department that handled martial artists affairs, the Department of Investigation Services still had some understanding of these powerhouses' characteristics. Bai Jinshan's pupils contracted. Rank 6 as expected. When he felt the oppressive aura earlier, he had already guessed it. He did not expect his guess to be correct. This was not the main point. The main point was that Fong Ping was still being hunted, even though he had killed 2 rank SXs. How strong were the evil sect martial artists who were hunting him? Bai Jinshan did not have much time to think. He said hurriedly, "Seal the corpses and other things. Cancel everyone's vacation and carry out stability maintenance." After saying that, Bai Jinshan got into the car. At this moment, Fong Mingrong was already in the car. Seeing that Fong Yuan and Li Yueying were about to get in, Fong Mingrong said in a low voice, "You guys don't have to go. I'll go alone." "Dad." Fong Yuan bit her lip and choked. "I want to go. I'm stronger than you. I want to see brother kill them." Fong Mingrong took a deep breath. After a while he nodded and said, "Okay, Yueying, don't go. Get in the car." Fong Yuan quickly got in the car. Li Yueying's face was covered in tears. Seeing this, she choked and said, "Bring Ping Ping back. Remember to bring Ping Ping back." Fong Mingrong did not say anything else. He nodded at Bai Jinshan. Bai Jinshan did not delay either. He quickly started the car and chased in the direction where the few people had left. Just as Fong Mingrong and the others left, news of the attack on Sun City had spread on social media. There was even a video of a few people fighting in midair. The video was relatively clear. Tonight was New Year's Eve. At that time, some people were preparing to take a video of the fireworks, but they happened to capture the battle in midair. Although it was nighttime and the distance was too far to capture the specific faces, a few rays of light intertwined in midair, including the sky-piercing saber glare, were captured very clearly. These videos were deleted very quickly. At this moment, the government did not want this news to be made public. The outcome of the battle in Sun City was unknown. It would be fine if Fong Ping and Wang Jinyang were alive, but if they were killed in Sun City, it would cause a huge impact. If 2 prodigies of the current era were killed by the evil sect martial artists in their hometown, then the previous announcement of the rankings to boost the confidence of the people would be in vain. At this moment, top-notch powerhouses from all over the country were mobilized, heading toward Sun City. It was not only the government. At this moment, from the direction of Magic City to Sun City, several powerhouses used the flight step and flew rapidly in the direction of Sun City. Reinforcements were still on the way, but Fong Ping and Wang Jinyang were a little powerless. Both of them were severely injured. Wang Jinyang was almost killed. Fong Ping's most serious injury was not caused by the evil sect martial artists, but by his own outburst. The outburst of celestiality had caused his flesh to explode. The self-explosion of mentality had shaken his mentality and blurred his consciousness. After that, the activation of the golden bones had also caused him to suffer heavy injuries. At this moment, Fong Ping's golden bones were still shining brilliantly. However, he had not achieved the golden body realm. His flesh breaking down was also a fatal injury. Activating the golden bones did not mean that Fong Ping really had an immortal body. The rank 6 martial artists behind him might not be able to break his golden bones. Although the bones could be preserved, it did not mean that he was still alive. The biggest possibility was that if the other party killed Fong Ping, they could also get a set of golden bones for free, increasing the other party's harvest. In midair, Fong Ping's speed was extremely fast, but it was difficult to shake off the middle-aged man who was chasing after him. This was not the Catacombs Royal City. If it was a catacomb city, Fong Ping could blend into the crowd and burrow underground. The other party might not be able to find him. However, this was the human world, Sun City. Below him were his compatriots. If Fong Ping burrowed underground and disappeared, Fong Ping had no doubt that the other party would disregard everything and massacre the residents below. Moreover, with the extremely injured Wang Jinyang, even if Fong Ping burrowed underground, he would be easily found. Seeing that Wang Jinyang's breathing was chaotic, looking like he was going to die at any moment, Fong Ping cursed as he sped. Mother asterisk her, we didn't even suffer so much in the catacombs. It's not worth dying in the hands of these be-asterisk stards. Wang Jinyang's face was pale, but he smiled and said, even if we die, we can't die on the run. When we reach the no man's land, don't run anymore. We still have the strength to fight. Let's fight with our lives. If we can't kill him, we have to hold him back and wait for Commander Bai to arrive. Fong Ping glanced at him and said, you can still fight. Give me some energy essence. I should be able to. I don't have any left. Fong Ping shook his head. A few high-ranked energy stones appeared in his hand, and he stuffed them into Wang Jinyang's hand. This is it. Make do with it. You're really rich and imposing. Wang Jinyang was still in the mood to tease Fong Ping. However, Fong Ping was indeed rich. High-ranked energy stones were not something anyone could take out. Wang Jinyang absorbed them quickly. He turned his head to look at the middle-aged man who was getting closer and closer. Suddenly he said, I'll hold him back. You should be able to run away. Get lost. Fong Ping cursed. He gritted his teeth and said, you came to save me. Who do you think I am? If Wang Jinyang did not participate in the battle, he could eat his reunion dinner at home in peace. Now that he was seriously injured to save himself, if Fong Ping abandoned him, Wang Jinyang would hold the other party back for a while, and Fong Ping would have no problem escaping. However, if he really did that, he would have lost the basic bottom line of being human. Even if this kind of person lived, even if he became a grandmaster in the future. No, this kind of person did not deserve the title of grandmaster. What difference was there between him and a cult? Fong Ping cursed. He said hurriedly, even a high-ranked can't kill me. A rank 6 is nothing. Since this be-asterisk star doesn't give up, then don't blame me for not holding back. Hold him back for a while longer. I'll blow him up. He needed time to condense celestiality. Fong Ping had thought it through. Since things had come to this, he might as well throw caution to the wind. Later, he would condense a huge ball of celestiality and leave himself a breath to blow that bastard up. With 500 C celestiality outburst, Old Manly could even kill a rank 8. He did not need much. Condensing 100 C was equivalent to a rank 7's full force attack. He did not believe that the other party could withstand it. As Fong Ping said that, he whispered, when I blow him up, run faster. Otherwise, you'll be blown to death. There's nothing I can do. Wang Jinyang's face was pale. Can you hold on? I won't let him have it easy even if I die. As he spoke, Fong Ping had already condensed celestiality in his hands. At this moment, Fong Ping restrained all his aura, using Wang Jinyang's body as a shield. Seeing the middle-aged man's punch piercing through the air toward him, Fong Ping did not even turn his head, continuing to fly forward. At this moment, Fong Ping looked more and more like a skeleton. Almost all the flesh on his body was falling off. When Wang Jinyang saw this scene, he sighed softly in his heart. Condensing celestiality at rank 5 was not without a price. In MCMAU, Fong Ping could only condense about 5C celestiality at most each time. The channeling of 50C had to be done in many times because his body could not withstand the power of celestiality. At this moment, if he wanted to blow up the fellow behind him, Fong Ping would have to endure a countercharge that was 10 times stronger than normal. Even if the other party was blown up, Fong Ping would be in danger. Both sides had been fighting for only 5 to 6 minutes. The speed of a powerhouse's fight was extremely fast. It would take another 5 to 6 minutes for Commander Bai to arrive, and Commander Bai might not be able to make it in time. Seeing that Fong Ping did not care anymore, Wang Jinyang's gaze deepened. After a moment, the faint sound of blood flowing could be heard from his body. His exposed bones, a blood-like vitality force, seeped out of his bones. Fong Ping's bloodied eyes narrowed. This was the force of bone marrow about to explode. Old Wang was also overdrafting his own strength. This time, even if they could survive, both of them would suffer heavy losses. Fong Ping looked at his shining golden arm and sighed softly in his heart. It was useless to think about these things. Based on his current situation, even though he was in high spirits now, he might not be able to fight anymore after a while. After a moment, he arrived at the White Mountains. Sun City had a branch of the White Mountains. Back then, when Wang Jinyang was hunting Huangbin, he had entered the White Mountains. The passageway to auspicious peace was also in the White Mountains. When Fong Ping ran here, he was actually heading in the direction of auspicious peace. The next moment, Fong Ping suddenly turned around and shouted, "A few grandmasters from auspicious peace will be here soon. Are you sure you want to exchange your life for theirs? As long as we can hold you back for a while, you're dead meat." The middle-aged man, who was already very close behind him, had an unpleasant look on his face. He said coldly, "You'll have to be able to hold me back first." As soon as he finished speaking, the other party punched through the air again. The red fist shadow pierced through the void in the blink of an eye, attacking both of them. Wang Jinyang's back was facing Fong Ping. Fong Ping grabbed his shoulder while he wielded his saber with both hands. With a slash, he destroyed the fist shadow. Puff! The fist shadow was destroyed. Wang Jinyang suffered a shock too, blood spurting from his mouth. The middle-aged man also knew that this place was very close to auspicious peace. He was afraid that there would really be grandmasters coming soon. Within 3 minutes, he had to kill both of them. Only then would he have a chance to escape. Without any further delay, above the middle-aged man's head, 3 completely sealed Sanjiao gates appeared instantly. The next moment, one of the gates opened slightly. At this moment, the other party's speed increased explosively. In the blink of an eye, he appeared behind both of them. The middle-aged man did not dare to continue accelerating. Instead, he sealed the Sanjiao gate quickly. When the Sanjiao gate was sealed, the effect of accumulating vitality and vitality was at its best. It was considered a preparation for them to step into rank 7. Once the gate was opened, vitality and vitality would be lost. It would be difficult to achieve rank 7 again. It was because he considered that grandmasters were coming soon that the middle-aged man made up his mind. He opened a small gap and sped up to catch up with both of them. With this, he would have to go back and recuperate for at least a few months before he could seal the gate completely. The middle-aged man's heart was boiling with anger. As a peak rank 6 powerhouse, he actually had to open the Sanjiao gate to chase after 2 heavily injured rank 5s. He was making a fool of himself. As he neared both of them, the middle-aged man no longer waved his fists in the air. His fists made a sonic boom directly, punching toward Wang Jinyang's head. A ruthless glint flashed in Wang Jinyang's eyes. The vitality in his entire body surged to the extreme. The Chongdao in his hand made a cracking sound. With a low growl, he slashed his saber. Boom! A loud explosion was heard. Even Fong Ping, who was flying in front, was shaken. Pale, golden blood dripped from his mouth. He staggered and fell down. Wang Jinyang, who was holding on to him, was limp and powerless. It was as if he had lost his life. Behind him, the middle-aged man flew backward. A clear saber mark appeared on his fist. A few bones in his hand were also broken. Both of you must die. The middle-aged man's rage was monstrous. The Sanjiao gate appeared again. The The gap appeared again. In the next second, he caught up with both of them again. Both his fists hammered out. The void exploded continuously. Wang Jinyang, who seemed powerless earlier, was like a cockroach that could not be killed. He regained his senses in an instant. He waved his saber and slashed continuously. The saber and the fists collided, emitting sparks. Mother asterisk cur. Fan Ping, who was in front, was also shaken by the tremendous force. He fell down continuously. The aftermath of the exchange between both parties caused the rocks below to explode and shatter continuously. Fan Ping's speed had slowed down significantly. His figure was no longer stable. It was not only the impact of the tremors, it was also related to the glowing ball in his hand. At this moment, because Fan Ping had restrained his aura, the glowing ball did not emit any energy waves. However, Fan Ping knew that the energy contained in this thing was extremely strong. It should be 50 C now, right? Fan Ping estimated in his heart. Right now, his left arm had completely turned into bones. There was no longer any flesh left. Under the tremors of celestiality, the flesh that was stuck to him earlier had all fallen off. Is there still hope for this body of mine to recover? The appearance of the golden bones did not give birth to imperishable substances. Fan Ping strongly suspected that even if he did not die, it would be difficult for him to recover his flesh. Could it be that he would have to live as a skeleton from now on? The key was without flesh and blood before achieving rank 8. Could he really survive? As his thoughts ran wild in his mind, the next moment, Fan Ping crashed directly onto the ground. A huge pit appeared on the ground. The moment he fell into the pit, Fan Ping quickly said in a low voice, "Dig a hole and lure him in. You hold him off for another 10 seconds. I'll blow him up." 10 seconds? Wang Jinyang's expression was bitter. This brat really thought too highly of him. Right now, his bone marrow force was almost completely exhausted. "If we die together. I believe that you won't die. If you die at most, you'll be resurrected after a few thousand years." Resurrected? Wang Jinyang was stunned. What did he mean? He still did not know MCMAU's speculation. Fan Ping did not have time to explain. After falling into the huge pit, Fan Ping quickly hammered the ground, making the pit deeper. In midair, he might not be able to blow that fellow up. However, after entering the pit, as long as the explosion hit, he did not believe that the fellow behind him could withstand it. As for himself and Wang Jinyang, it would depend on luck. While Fan Ping continued to condense celestiality, he dug the hole madly. The middle-aged man behind him had already entered the cave. As he fought with the heavily injured and dying Wang Jinyang, he sneered, "Do you think you can escape like this?" The two of them were digging their own graves. If they continued to flee outside, it would take more effort for him to kill them. He did not expect Fan Ping to dig a hole in the stone mountain in a panic. How stupid! At this moment, Fan Ping and Wang Jinyang had brought themselves to a dead end. But finding a grave for yourself before you die is also a wise move. Fan Ping, who was digging the hole, did not bother to reply. In reality, he did not have time to reply. It was hard to say whose grave this hole was dug for. At this moment, Fan Ping's golden bones had begun to tremble. The ball of light in his hand was also getting brighter. His sparkling internal organs were also beginning to shatter. Wang Jinyang said with difficulty, Dun, no. He really could not hold on any longer. He had not reached the stage where he could fight a peak rank 6 head-on. Although both parties were only 1 rank apart, in reality it was 5 ranks apart. The gap was too big. If it were 2 early-stage rank 6 martial artists, they might have been beaten to death. This time, both of us will be famous even if we die. Fan Ping suddenly let out a low roar. Then he punched out violently, punching a giant hole from the side. Fan Ping quickly pulled Wang Jinyang into the hole. Then, Fan Ping turned his head, looking at the middle-aged man who was about to chase in. He suddenly let out a low roar, and the surrounding rocks exploded instantly. The middle-aged man's body swayed slightly, but he was not affected much. However, blood flowed out of his nostrils. Mentality, self-detonation. You can deal with others, but you're not qualified to deal with a peak rank 6. The middle-aged man sneered again. Although his mentality was not strong, it was close to the stage of external projection. In addition, his Sanjiao gate was sealed and his vitality force was strong. If Fang Ping wanted to rely on this to deal with him, it was a little lacking. Fang Ping could not be bothered with him. Self-detonation of mentality was only to delay the other party's pace. The next moment, Fang Ping suddenly grinned. "I'll give you something good." Before he finished his words, Fang Ping tossed out a ball of light that had no energy fluctuations. Then, Fang Ping punched the hole forward frantically. If he did not run now, he would be buried with them. "Old Wang, hang in there." Fang Ping let out a low roar. Wang Jinyang's expression changed drastically too. What little remained of his bone marrow force emerged again. This time it was not to attack, but to cover the surface of his body with layers and layers of vitality defense. Fang Ping did the same. Vitality force, bone marrow force, and mentality covered both of their bodies in layers and layers. The middle-aged man behind him had just been shaken by the self-detonation of mentality, so he was slightly affected. The ball of light that Fang Ping tossed out did not have much power. Seeing both of them burrowing madly inside, the middle-aged man chased after them almost subconsciously. The moment the ball of light neared, the middle-aged man's pupils contracted suddenly. Danger! Run! Such a thought rose in his mind instantly. At this moment his hair stood on end. He felt an incomparably intense threat of death. As for the ball of light, the moment he retreated, it had already exploded. Boom! The glaring white glow almost lit up the entire mountain range. The deafening sound of the explosion and the roar spread throughout this part of the world. More than 10 li away, Fang Mingrong and the others who were chasing in their car suddenly saw a glaring light rising from afar, followed by a deafening roar. In the next moment, the ground shook as if an earthquake was coming. In the White Mountains, some of the nearby mountain peaks disappeared directly. In the center of the explosion, a deep pit with a circumference of 100 meters appeared. Countless gravel splattered everywhere. Most of the stones had already turned into dust, and smoke rose everywhere. Less than 30 li away from this place, the expression of the Nanjiang Military Region's commander changed drastically. Had a high rank made a move? Which side's high rank had made a move? Chapter 415. Song Mountain Range. In a huge pit, the smoke and dust gradually disappeared. The entire mountain range was extremely quiet at this moment. After an unknown period of time, some of the rubble at the bottom of the pit moved slightly. A moment later, a broken head appeared at the bottom of the pit. "I didn't die." A voice filled with extreme resentment rang out. The middle-aged man struggled to climb out of the hole. At this moment, his body was already in a terrible state, and both of his legs had completely disappeared. Just as the middle-aged man was struggling to crawl, a nearby gravel was flipped up again. A golden skeleton-like creature shook its broken head and crawled out of the rubble. Its voice sounded like a broken gong. "Not dead yet. I'm lucky, but sooner or later." At this moment, Fang Ping was really a little delirious. Fortunately, he still had his wealth, so he was constantly healing his injuries. Fang Ping was still fine. He would not die now. However, after digging for a while, when he found a body that looked like it had been dismembered, Fang Ping's hoarse voice rang out again. "Brother Wang, I'm sorry. Are you still alive?" As Fang Ping spoke, a few high-ranked energy stones appeared in his hand. These were also the last high-ranked energy stones he had. The energy stone was crushed by Fang Ping's hand bones and stuffed directly into the corpse. Fang Ping waited for a moment. After a while, the corpse moved slightly and said in a barely audible voice, "Dead, dead." "Not yet." Fang Ping turned his head and glanced at the half-human body that was still crawling. He said mildly, "Go ahead and crawl. You'll be the best if you manage to crawl out of here." The middle-aged man didn't die, but the lower half of his body was blown up. His upper body was also battered to the extreme. Fang Ping deduced that his Sanjiao gate must have been blown to pieces. There was not even a hint of vitality force fluctuation on this fellow. The fact that he didn't die meant that he had a strong will to live. But now, even if he didn't die, he wouldn't be able to live much longer. Fang Ping did not go forward to kill him. He did not have the strength to move now. The other party could not crawl out anyway. After catching his breath, Fang Ping saw that the middle-aged man was still crawling. He said with difficulty, "Why are you struggling? Do you think you're like us? Our bone marrow has mutated. Do you think you've mutated too? I might as well kill myself. The divine sect won't let you off." The middle-aged man's blurry eyes were filled with despair. He couldn't live. Just as Fang Ping had said, his injuries were so severe that even his Sanjiao gate was shattered. Even if he managed to escape from this place now, he would not survive, unless he soaked in the energy essence to heal his injuries. However, even rank 9 martial artists valued this item greatly and viewed it as a precious treasure. He was only a rank 6 martial artist. Even if the evil sect had it, it was impossible for them to let him use it. This was not something that could be repaired with just a little bit of effort. Perhaps it would take a few kilograms of energy. With so many of them, it would be more than enough to cultivate a level 7. Divine sect? Bullsh *T God sect. Fang Ping used his wealth to replenish his vitality force and mentality to prevent his injuries from worsening. At the same time, he said playfully, "Don't worry. Those bastards will join you sooner or later. How dare you ambush me? If I'm not dead, then you're finished. Originally, you guys could fight amongst yourselves. If you didn't provoke me, I wouldn't have had the time to deal with you clowns. But if you insist on provoking me, wait for this daddy to destroy all of you." As Fang Ping said that, he continued, "I suspect that your evil sect is also in constant internal strife. How dare you, a rank 6, come and kill me? Don't you know that I've killed countless rank SXS in the Nanjiang catacombs? If we're not in the human world, do you think a rank 6 martial artist like you can force me to this point? If the evil sect has a source of information in the catacombs, or someone in the upper echelons of the human race, they will definitely know about this news. Forget about rank 6. In the catacombs, even a rank 9 can't kill me. You, a rank 6, ask yourself honestly, if it wasn't because I didn't want to hurt the innocent, would you have forced me to this point? Dogs biting each other. Looks like you've offended someone. You've been framed on purpose. You haven't even achieved mentality-vitality fusion, yet you want to kill me. No wonder I suddenly received a text at night. Someone wants to ambush me. I thought it was someone who told me. Maybe it's your enemy?" As Fang Ping spoke, although the middle-aged man's consciousness was starting to blur, he still heard it. His battered body stiffened slightly, no longer crawling. Wang Jinyang, who was lying on the side, was speechless. This guy still had the mood to talk so much. At this moment, he could not even move. He was afraid that he would fall apart. Fang Ping continued to pant, saying tiredly, "Looks like a few of the evil sect's high ranks were killed by us last time. Someone wants to take over. A peak rank 6 like you probably has the same intention too, right? Is the evil sect trying to nurture more peak rank 6 to become high ranks? Whose path are you blocking? I heard that there are a few evil sects too. Or are the other sects deliberately framing you? 3 rank SXS died. If they're all from your sect, I'm afraid your sect is finished this time." The middle-aged man looked like he was already dead. He was sprawled on the ground. He could not even feel his breath. Fang Ping did not care about him. He started panting, saying in a low voice, "These idiots from the evil sect. Do they really think that I was the one who killed the high ranks last time? It's all because their own people betrayed their own people. Otherwise, how could so many high ranks have died? Human nature is really ugly to the extreme. That's good too. The more people die, the better. At this moment, Wang Jinyang suddenly said in a low voice, "They're dead. Stop fooling him." Fang Ping said lightly, "Do you think I'm fooling him?" "I'm serious. This time, someone really warned me in advance. Otherwise, if 3-rank SAXS ambushed me, I would really be in danger. However, the other party didn't have good intentions either. They only warned me at the last moment. It seems like they want to see us fight to the death. No need to guess. It's either the evil sect or the 2 major companies. If the others knew, they wouldn't have waited until then to warn us. Is what you said true?" Wang Jinyang was confused at this moment. Fang Ping said softly, "Of course it's true. Maybe it's his enemy. It's not surprising. It's too common for dogs to bite each other." "That's true." As the 2 of them were talking, the middle-aged man who seemed dead earlier suddenly said with difficulty, Upright Sun Martial Arts Dojo, Luha, Nanjiang Pill Company, Zhao Yu, your people?" Fang Ping's gaze changed slightly. Kill them!" As soon as he finished speaking, the middle-aged man's broken head suddenly tilted. Fang Ping sensed carefully. After a while he said, "This time he's really dead." Although Wang Jinyang had the urge to sleep, he resisted the urge and panted. Could it be that he's spouting nonsense on purpose? I don't know. I'll look into it later. There must be some clues. These 2 people, are you familiar with them? Peak rank 6. The few in Nanjiang, Wang Jinyang's face was as white as a sheet. Director Zhou died in battle. Lu had took over Upright Sun Martial Arts Dojo. As the largest martial arts dojo in Nanjiang, most of the casual martial artists in Nanjiang came from Upright Sun Martial Arts Dojo. Now that Zhou Zhenyang died in battle, Lu Ha took over the dojo. If the other party was really from the evil sect, things would be a little troublesome. As he spoke, Fang Ping felt a monstrous aura coming toward him. He quickly said, "Don't talk later." Don't talk if there aren't more than 2 grandmasters. Okay. Wang Jinyang instantly understood what he meant. Right now, Fang Ping probably did not trust anyone, not even Commander Bai. While Wang Jinyang was still thinking, Fang Ping suddenly began to move. He burrowed into the gravel and said in a low voice, "Just say that you don't know where I am. Stall for a while. At least wait for another grandmaster to come." Wang Jinyang did not know what to say. Did this guy really suspect that Commander Bai was from the evil sect? The probability of that was too low. As the leader of the military, if Commander Bai was not trustworthy, then Nanjiang would really be in danger. However, Fang Ping insisted on doing this. There was no harm in being careful, so Wang Jinyang did not say anything else. Very soon, Fang Ping burrowed underground. Seeing this, Wang Jinyang shifted his body and covered the top of the hole he had burrowed into. He could not sense Fang Ping's aura underground at all. Not long after Fang Ping burrowed into the ground, a tall figure landed instantly. Commander Bai was wearing a military uniform. His expression was solemn. After looking around, he heaved a sigh of relief and hurried to Wang Jinyang. When he saw that Wang Jinyang's aura was extremely weak, Commander Bai quickly took out a bottle of pills and poured them into his mouth. He frowned and asked, "Jinyang, where's Fang Ping?" Wang Jinyang looked like he had just woken up. He panted and said, "I'm not sure. Who did it just now?" Commander Bai asked again. Wang Jinyang seemed to be unable to speak. His lips moved, but no sound came out. "Your injuries are extremely serious. I'll look for Fang Ping first. Once I find him, we'll go back and treat him immediately." Commander Bai did not continue to ask. His mentality spread out and explored the surroundings. After a moment, Commander Bai's expression changed. Nothing. Fang Ping was dead? Only a dead person with no aura of life could hide from him. The next moment, Commander Bai performed the flight step and explored the surroundings. If Fang Ping was dead, there would be a huge mess. At the very least, those fellows from MCMAU would not let this go. Just as Commander Bai could not find Fang Ping after a moment of exploration and had no choice but to return to his original spot, a few powerful auras were already closing in. Commander Bai did not speak again. Streams of vitality force entered Wang Jinyang's body to help him suppress the eruption of his injuries. After about 3 to 4 minutes, 2 silhouettes descended from the sky. "Oh, Bai, what's going on?" One of them, a square-faced man, asked hurriedly as soon as he landed. The other skinny old man also looked grim. "What's the situation?" Both of them quickly saw Wang Jinyang's mutilated body on the ground. Their expressions changed drastically. "Where's Fang Ping?" Commander Bai shook his head and said in a low voice, "I didn't find him." These 2 people were powerhouses from the nearby provinces. One was a powerhouse from Donglin, the other from Nanhu. Among the local powerhouses of Nanjiang, only he had rushed over. Usually, Zhang Dingnan would have rushed over. However, Zhang Dingnan's injuries were extremely serious now. Even if he had received the news, he would not have made it in time. Underground, Fang Ping still had not appeared. He wanted to wait a little longer, at least until someone familiar arrived. However, Magic City was quite far from Sun City. The people from MCMAU might not be able to rush over so quickly. After grinding for a while, 2 more grandmasters appeared on the ground. 5 grandmasters had arrived. At this moment, Fang Ping felt safe. It was impossible that all 5 grandmasters were from the evil sect. If that was the case, the evil sect would have opened the passageway long ago. As these people investigated, they helped Wang Jinyang stabilize his injuries. They were still talking in low voices when the gravel beneath them moved. They were instantly on guard, ready to attack. After a while, a scene that left them dumbfounded appeared. A shiny, golden skeleton drilled out from the ground. At this moment, Fang Ping's arms were almost devoid of flesh. The other parts of his body were slightly better, but they were still badly mutilated. As he crawled out from the ground, he saw the grandmasters glaring at him. Fang Ping said hurriedly, "It's me, Fang Ping of MCMAU." "You're not dead," one of the grandmasters blurted out. He was really shocked. This guy's injuries were so serious that even if he did not look closely, there was no need to look closely. Just by looking at him, even an idiot would know that his injuries were extremely serious. He was still not dead? Fang Ping's badly mutilated face did not change much, but it was obvious that he was not in a good state. "Grandmasters, do you have resurrection pills? I'm dying." As soon as he said that, they hurriedly took out some pills. Fang Ping took the pills and did not waste any time. Without even swallowing them, he stuffed them directly into his body through the hole in his chest. Seeing this, their expressions changed again and again. This vitality was extremely tenacious. They could see his internal organs clearly. At this moment, many of them were broken. Fang Ping stuffed the pills into his body and said, "Do you have energy essence?" "Grandmasters, borrow it first." "MCMAU will return it. I can't hold on any longer." They looked at each other. One of the old men smiled bitterly and said, "We really don't have it. Fang Ping, can you still hold on?" This injury was not easy to treat. They did not know where to start. On Wang Jinyang's side, they could still ensure that his injuries did not worsen. On Fang Ping's side, this injury was really not easy to treat. As for energy essence, what a joke. Did everyone have that? Commander Bai exhaled and said, "Wait a little longer. Wait for a rank 8 golden body powerhouse to come." Rank 8 golden body powerhouses had imperishable substances. If they consumed too much, these rank 8s might not be willing. However, most people would not say no to consuming a little to help Fang Ping heal his injuries. The grandmasters had no other choice but to continue waiting. They did not ask in detail. At this time, both of their injuries were extremely serious. Stabilizing their injuries was the priority. As for the corpse at the side, they had seen it. Deep down, they were still very shocked. A peak rank 6 martial artist. This person had died here. If it was one of their own powerhouses, there was no reason not to meet them. If it was not, then how did this person die? What was up with the celestiality outburst earlier? Also, what was going on with Fong Ping's bones? The Grandmaster's eyesight was not bad. This was a real golden bone. A rank 5 martial artist actually had golden bones. This was too surprising. The fact that Fong Ping could live until now had a lot to do with this set of golden bones. Could it be that Fong Ping killed the peak rank 6? One by one, doubts surfaced in their minds. At this moment, the Grandmasters had too many questions to ask. However, seeing that Fong Ping and Wang Jinyang were focused on healing, they could only wait. After waiting for a while, the first powerhouse above rank 7 arrived. It was none other than Wu Chuan. Over at Nanjiang's catacombs, someone went in to report the news. The celestiality outburst in Nanjiang's territory was very important. Zhao Xingwu was still in the catacombs at this moment. Both sides had not erupted into a rank 9 battle yet. Wu Chuan was weaker than him. Upon receiving the news, he quickly walked out of the catacombs and rushed over. When Wu Chuan arrived, Fong Ping, who was still healing, suddenly said, "Senior Wu, help!" Fong Ping? Wu Chuan was stunned. He really did not recognize Fong Ping. After looking closely, Fong Ping's face was a bloody mess, but he still looked a little human. Seeing this, Wu Chuan did not care about his golden bones anymore. He quickly patted Fong Ping. Wisps of faint golden substance passed from his hands into Fong Ping's body. After a while, some flesh grew on Fong Ping's bones. The cracks on Fong Ping's face also began to heal gradually. Fong Ping felt this change and was instantly overjoyed. The effect of the imperishable substance. Just as he was rejoicing, Wu Chuan suddenly stopped. Fong Ping was stunned. He said dryly, "Senior Wu, give me a little more, give me a little more. I'm really going to die." Wu Chuan smiled bitterly. "You won't die. This is almost enough. I can't expend any more. If I expend any more, the Nanjiang catacombs will erupt into a battle, and I'll be affected." If he did not have a guarding mission now, Wu Chuan could still continue to help. However, he had a mission now. A rank 9 battle would erupt at any time. He could not overdraft too much imperishable substance. As for Fong Ping, he should not die. This fellow's injuries seemed to be extremely serious. But Wu Chuan could feel that this kid's vitality was also extremely strong. The benefits of golden bones were also starting to show. Life energy was growing on his bones. Compared to Fong Ping, Wang Jinyang was more troublesome. As he was thinking about this, suddenly a faint golden glow seeped out of Wang Jinyang's body while he was sitting cross-legged. Everyone at the scene was stunned. The few rank 7 grandmasters were so shocked that they did not know what to say. What was going on? Were these 2 monsters really rank 5? One had condensed golden bones. The other actually had imperishable substance seeping out of his body, helping Wang Jinyang recover from his injuries. They were shocked. Fong Ping's pupils contracted sharply. It was true. His guess was right. The imperishable substance really existed. Mutated martial artists like Old Wang were really powerhouses, resurrected. On the verge of death, these imperishable substances were revived. Regarding MCMAU's guess, other than the few MCMAU powerhouses, only the central government knew about it. At this moment, the central government had not disclosed this news to the outside world. After all, it was just a guess. Everything had not been proven. Moreover, if this matter spread out, the impact would not be small. The others did not know. Wu Chuan should have known, but he had been in the catacombs all along and did not receive any news. At this moment, seeing the imperishable substance seeping out of Wang Jinyang's body. Wu Chuan looked at Wang Jinyang for a while, then turned his head to look at Fang Ping. Suddenly, Wu Chuan smacked his head. Did I go to the wrong place? Or was this a dream? 2 rank 5s. Were they really rank 5? These 2 people were rank 8 and rank 5, right? He was still thinking about this when Fang Ping suddenly hugged Wang Jinyang, his face full of lust and dissatisfaction. He said longingly, "Brother Wang, release a little more. Let me bask in the light. My flesh can't grow anymore. I don't want to be a skeleton. Give me a little too. Brother Wang, don't be stingy. You've accumulated it for thousands of years. It must be a lot. Give me a little." Fang Ping rubbed against Wang Jinyang with all his might. Everyone was completely dumbfounded. Who the F***CK could tell them what was going on? At this moment, everyone was starting to doubt their lives. Everything that happened today had subverted everyone's worldview.